Here we
Hey,
go.
what is up, everybody? We're back here again, Cole and I, for another commentary for you. Today we're going to be doing The Witch and kind of a Halloween season. So yeah, sounds
So
like
I
a
was
good time to
thinking.
do one.
Plus, I didn't watch it last year for some reason. I guess I just couldn't fit it in. Like a lot of
Mhm.
October, so I have like a rough idea of movies I want to watch as I get closer to Halloween. And The Witch must have gotten pushed out last year because of something. So it has been a while
Mhm.
since I've seen it. Although I remember because I've seen it many times and I own it. But I definitely thought we're really close now, so something good.
I remember my sister-in-law, like they'd had a kid. This was like their first date out after they had a kid. They went and saw The Witch, and I could have told them it wasn't a movie for them because they have terrible taste. But hope they don't watch this video. But um, yeah, they have terrible taste, and they hated the movie. So, and then I'd heard they hated it, and I didn't even, I saw it myself anyway. But
Yeah, I saw it in theater too. Luckily. I mean, it was a small crowd, but they seemed to like it. I remember it was an older crowd. I saw because they're,
mm-hmm.
I was
I think
one
a
of the
little bit of
younger
word of
people
mouth.
there.
Yeah,
I was in my mid-30s. But I mean,
hell,
it
that
was everything I
was
wanted it to be based on like what I'd seen and read about it. Because I mean, it's often hailed as one of the best horror movies of the 2010s. For me, I think it's one of the best movies of the 2010s. Period. It's one of my favorite movies from the 2010s for sure. I
mm-hmm.
just love everything about it.
Yeah,
And I
it's
have the
probably
same
my
mind
top.
on it. I love the atmosphere. I love the slow build. I really like the historical details, things like that. This is Robert Eggers' feature film debut, and it's a pretty damn good one as those go.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
Having also done The Lighthouse and The Northman, which I also like. I also saw The Lighthouse in theater, but I didn't see The Northman in theater because
I
I
don't
think it
think
was
either were
during
playing
COVID
for
stuff.
me to. Yeah, I don't think either were playing here.
Wish I could have seen The Northman in theater because it has sort of a more epic scope than the other two. Like that's the main difference I would say is these first two, they're very minimalistic, small group of characters, doesn't move around, kind of a single. Well, I mean, The Lighthouse doesn't get more minimalistic than that. Two characters in a lighthouse, that's it. In this it's a bit more small family unit in a cottage, isolated cottage in the wilderness, whereas The Northman actually does move around and go places and have more stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a big scale movie as opposed to this only has what 2 or 3 settings.
Yeah, I mean, we get a very brief thing at the beginning showing us the village they were in, but we don't really get to see much of it, and then they're gone, and it's the rest is them, and then maybe some shots out towards the witch's house in the woods.
They're the Puritans, right? We're talking like first generation, Americans possibly.
Yeah,
or even before America existed, I guess.
Right. I mean, depending on how you define that, right? Like, yeah. It's even possible that the parents in this might have come from England, and weren't born
right.
here.
That's kind of what I assumed, yeah. But I mean, who knows how many generations it would take for that accent to leave completely.
It's supposed to be 1630s, so only shortly after the Mayflower and all that.
That's like Scarlet Letter days.
I mean, that's really when it's funny. Everybody knows 1492, but it is almost like there's a jump there. You don't really hear much about.
That's true.
The earliest days of the colonies. It's not until you get up to 1620 Plymouth Rock and all that, then you start to hear more about those early colonies.
And then like there were established, cities. So a lot happened between that period of time.
Right. Although I don't know how big. I mean, one of the reasons I like the setting of this so much is because of when it's set and everything. Like even the eastern part of Canada and the U.S. would have been extremely sparsely populated.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
And a big part of this movie, of course, is the fear of the unknown. And you've always since ancient times you've had civilization and the safety of civilization, and then you go outside of it. You're at the mercy of nature, demons, evil gods, things like that.
Yeah. Man, it would be awesome to go back then, before we, ravage the landscape and see what everything looked like. All the species that are extinct
Oh, yeah.
now.
You don't even have to go back that far.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was thinking about that.
What's
But
going
to
on?
answer there,
Thanks for checking us out.
Heradath, yeah, I'm sorry about our channel. It's been on the longest hiatus it's ever been. It's not dead. It is coming back. It's actually coming back pretty soon, we think. I would say this fall.
And that is the Movie Discussion Pocket Dimension is the name of that channel.
Yeah, it is kind of a mouthful to remember.
I can link it on here. Maybe easier if I link it.
But yes, that channel is not dead and will be revived shortly.
Yeah.
This is kind of a stepping stone towards that, trying to get back into the feel of things. I really haven't been too active in a while. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to get this in before Halloween. But yes, thank you for your interest. That's good. I'm glad to know
Absolutely.
that people are still interested when it's languished for a few months there. But we're creeping back towards that. But yeah, I was thinking, I was playing the game a few months ago, one of my favorite games, Ghost of Tsushima, which is set, like 800 years ago. It's like medieval times, Japan. It's a fictionalized telling of the real life invasion of Tsushima by the Mongolian forces. And you just think about how open the world was then, in a way, because even the biggest cities weren't that big and everything spread out, and there's just so much untainted wilderness.
What is that, a platformer?
Yeah.
Or okay.
It's a platformer. You go around, you do sword fighting.
Haven't played that. That sounds cool.
Oh, it's one of my favorites. It's awesome.
I need to find something new, man. I've been in a funk on everything. I'm not playing games. I can't find anything I like.
Well, that's one thing I've been doing is I've been playing games a lot. The Metal Gear collection just came out finally, so I've been reacquainting myself with these games that were just so foundational to myself as a person and gamer or whatever you want to call it. Like, these were games that I was right in on. I always say this because, it's the same thing with movies too. Nobody controls how old they are or anything like that. There's no wrong time to play a game for the first time or watch a movie for the first time. But sometimes I do think we benefit when we get to be around when they first come out. Because you're not going to hear me talk about with this movie. This movie came out in 2015, and it's not a big deal. But, if you're used to watching the Movie Discussion Pocket Dimension, you hear me blather on about historical context, because it is true. It's one thing to watch The Godfather now. You'd be like, The Godfather, that's a great movie. It's classic. But it's another thing to think about what The Godfather must have been like in, 1973.
Right. It's, we say it's about everything, but it's a very different environment than it was because, at least when we were kids and stuff stayed in the theater longer. It took longer to come out, and it was still a talking point. Now it's like the entire season of whatever drops on Netflix, and everybody talks.
It's always
about
on to
it
the
for
next thing, right?
A week, and then it's on to
the next thing.
If you missed out, you're just out of luck. No discussion for you.
Yeah.
Nobody cares anymore.
Which is usually how I watched a lot of those things. Like, I would usually wait for all that to die down and watch it myself.
Me too.
I don't know.
I've always been turned off by a lot of, popularity around stuff. Only because generally it's stuff I'm not going to like, but that's not always the case,
Yeah, same here. Like, I can think of, they had that Korean show, Squid Game, that was huge for a while. I was like, that does seem like something that appealed to me, but I just didn't want to watch it because it was all anybody was talking about. And I was like, I don't care.
I watched a little bit of the first episode. I just didn't get very far into it. I'm sure it's fun. People love it.
Yeah. It's cool that people in the last, say, 10 years have really come around to watching shows and movies from other countries.
It's the kids,
Jay and I have been blathering on about for so long. Like, come on, give foreign cinema a chance. Like, don't be afraid of subtitles, things like that.
Teenagers now love anime. And when I was a teenager, anime hadn't really made it over here in a big way. Yeah,
I was there for sort of the first boom, because you say about 97 was sort of the first, but still, that was we talked about this too, my age and stuff like that. It was legit geeky stuff. Same thing as being a comic person. Growing up being a comic fan, there was nothing mainstream about that. The people at my high school weren't wearing Spider-Man t-shirts.
Mm-hmm. No,
and they were hard
cool,
to get
man.
too.
Yeah.
If you wanted a Spider-Man t-shirt in the 90s, you had to go to find maybe a comic book store that carried them. You weren't going to see them in Walmart and stuff.
Yeah, anywhere. Yeah, you can find it anywhere now.
So a lot of that, it is interesting seeing all that stuff become. Sorry, go ahead.
How the uncool thing is now the cool thing, which is it's really bizarre.
Yeah, it's been
It's
hard to wrap my head around.
It's like, did you ever see 21 Jump Street, the movie?
Yeah.
It's
And they
like when they
come-
first get to school and he starts like messing with the kid, like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" He's like, "You're being a bully."
He's a nerd. You're
Yeah.
supposed to pick on the nerds.
Yeah,
And they're like,
yeah.
and he's like, everything's backwards now.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's true, you know. I mean, I graduated high school 2001, so.
Mm-hmm. Well, if it makes you feel any better, this director is younger than both of us.
That's great. He's not even 40 yet.
So,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
Yep. So,
But I guess we can get started here. I'm a little concerned about matching it up because I've actually I couldn't find it for streaming. So this is my Blu-ray copy. Here's the Steelbook version. Man, I'm not in focus right. Oh well, I guess it doesn't matter.
well, this starts with the A24 logo is the first thing that comes up. Yours is probably the same. I'd imagine it's probably the same.
Well, what was weird is we were trying to see what the runtime was, and I paused it like during the very first title to come up, but it was doing that thing where it wasn't showing the runtime of the movie; it was just showing the runtime of that screen. It was like 15 seconds. I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
So I actually had to get to the next one. So the chapter I have, I'm 16 seconds in. It says RT features to show me the runtime, which is just hour 32 minutes. It's a short movie. I'll try to back it up a little bit.
So I mean, we're
This thing is slow to respond to my commands. Like, back up. For fuck's sake, back up. Plus, which one is pause? Like, isn't this pause? See, there's the A20. Okay.
okay. There's our.
I managed to pause right on where it says A24.
Okay, cool. That's right where this one starts. So. All right, guys.
That'll go well.
It's been a little while.
What button is what?
I may be rusty at this, but we'll do a countdown here. And when I say play, you're going to want to hit that play button. So 3, 2, 1, play.
Okay, I did it right.
Yeah.
Parts and labor.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay, so we're pretty close. We're pretty in sync there. Right?
Mm-hmm. We're good.
But this is again very strongly based on folklore, real folklore. It's not based on any one particular story. It's kind of a combination of elements from some. But you know, when it comes to period piece movies, I can overlook historical inaccuracy with certain movies because it depends upon what kind of story they're trying to know what they're going for. But I really do appreciate the movies where they go out of their way to make things historically accurate, and this one really does. The way they speak, the way they dress, their level of like tools and stuff is all period accurate. So that's The Witch, a New England Folktale. Is a little subtitle there.
Okay, I'm just a little bit behind you. I had to straighten up my captions.
So is it Anna Taylor-Joy or Anya?
I thought it was Anna. But...
I swear I've seen it was like a Y.
It may have a Y in it.
But maybe it's a silent Y. Maybe it's still Anya, but we don't pronounce the Y. She's a pretty big deal now, but here she'd be fairly young.
Yeah, she's huge. She's probably top right now.
Yeah. But she's
it does look like Anya, doesn't it?
Yeah, but again, I'm so unsure of names. It might be a silent Y. Cannot be judged by false Christians. So here they're getting kicked out of their village. And the father, William, is unrepentant about this, thinks that they are all bad at being Puritans. He thinks his family is better Puritans than these fake-ass Puritans.
They're not pure enough.
Yeah. So you're being banished.
Can you imagine how bad it stinks in that room right now?
Oh man, I guess it's something people must have gotten used to back then. But imagine just being like from here and time traveling back. I mean, at least they lived in the wilderness, so like, you know, at this time, a large city like London would absolutely reek.
Oh yeah, totally.
You know, people just dumping literal shit out the windows into the streets.
Yeah, I'm sure you get used to it a little
polite name for it. All right, so our main character, Anna Taylor-Joy, is Thomason, a teenage girl.
Man, she looks young there.
This is about 8 years ago.
This was 16?
15, I think.
15, yeah. Okay.
So I think she might have been like 19 or 20, but it's pretty clear her character is maybe supposed to be about 15, 16, which she can pull off. Because a big part of this movie is sort of her adolescence and how it comes into direct conflict with the harsh teachings of Puritan society. I mean, they think everything's a sin, basically.
Right. That must have been a fun time to be alive.
Oh, man. And the other thing is, like, I mean, I know there were such people, there were atheists even back then, right? But they were much more rare. But I mean, for most people, it wasn't really even about faith. It was God is there, the devil's there, and those are fucking facts. You know, that's how they live their lives. And if somebody, like, with a cross or a collar says, you are sinners and you're going to hell, you believe them, you know?
Right.
Now, there are still a very tiny, or at least much smaller version of that, of people that exist like that now. But back then, that was just facts. You know, whether you wanted to believe in God or worship him or like him or like that, he was there, definitely. He was watching. He was very judgy. And the devil's there waiting to ensnare you. Great opening. Great music. And so it is. It's just the woods, right? They're just looking at the woods, but there it is. The threat of the outside world, nature, outside the safety of civilization. So Eggers, of course, wanted to shoot this on location somewhere in New England. Wasn't able to do so. So this is actually shot in Ontario.
Does it ever say where it takes place?
Not specifically, but it's called a New England folktale.
It doesn't matter. I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, it matters in that where the Puritans would have been. So, you know, somewhere in what is modern day New England, it might be something like Massachusetts or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it matters insofar as, again, the people that are the type of people are here, what they believe, and the various folk tales that came from that region. You know, this is way before the West was settled. You know, the West is just a big unsettled place except for the indigenous peoples. European expansion at this point is minimal. So a bit of a time jump here, obviously, to show how they've built their little homestead.
She has great eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a beautiful lady, but you know.
I know they look very innocent, of course. I mean, that's about.
I mean, especially at that
corruption.
angle, yeah, it was great.
Corruption of her innocence is a big part of this.
When we get there, let's talk about when it happens too. I'm sure we will because.
So here she is watching the baby. So each member of the family has their own sins, and you think, how can a baby have sins? But they point out that he dies before he's baptized.
Yeah, you little bastard. God. Yeah, that is true though. That's the way they
so that's original sin. So they're just like, yeah, that baby's going to hell too. He's damned.
Well, it's the same thing that you want to do last rites before someone dies, right?
Yeah.
You want to absolve them before they pass away.
I mean, in these woods here, it is Ontario, but it looks like northeastern because that's what the woods look like.
Sure.
Here. Yeah. I'm trying to remember specifically what you would call that kind of forest.
I mean, it looks predominant. Well, I was gonna say evergreen, but I see some hardwood in there.
Yeah, it's a mix of geography. Let's see what
He's
what
sinning
the-
right now. Look at him.
He's enjoying himself way too much.
I heard him giggle.
Now, I can't find the term I'm looking for, but there's a term for the kind of forest that exists in the Northeast that would be in New England and also where I live, but I can't find it. Oh well, it's not that important. All right, so right off, we know there is a witch. They don't hide that from us. There's a witch nearby.
Eating the baby. Or doing something to the baby.
Right. So this ritual, again, comes from a real folklore. The idea, see, she's making a pestle. She's using the blood of the baby. This is supposed to allow her to be able to fly on the broom.
She covers herself with the blood of the baby.
Yeah, but see, she's putting it on the broom. This is to allow flight.
Oh, I never noticed that. Wow. Okay.
Like I said, if you look it up, there's various sources for some of this stuff.
Is that real? I mean, like, did they really do that?
I mean, it's a real folk tale.
Right. I mean, I'm not saying does it work. I mean, did they really do it?
No, I mean, I don't think there were ever people that tried to be witches like that. You know, people believed in witches. I don't believe witches existed, but they're saying this was a thing they thought witches did.
But like, okay, at this point, you said what 1600s something.
Yeah,
So
so
we've had
1630s.
Europeans on the continent for a couple hundred years. Like, what are the witches? I mean, they look to be white or Caucasian or whatever.
Right.
So I mean, what
So
are they? They're just like
I don't know if they're saying that these witches came over with them, that these are
Right.
the old European style witches, or if this is, I don't know. Even
Well,
if it looks white, remember this witch does change appearance a few times. Because I think
That's
really what
true.
they're trying to say here is that the witch is from this area. You know, that the witch was already here. That the witch would have been here before them. So here we get a bit. He's again, I don't judge him too much. He's out living by himself. So we got the main sin sort of Caleb.
Don't
the
you
sin
be
of
sinning,
lust.
Caleb? Damn it.
Because I mean, there's no other girls. There's her. That's it. You know.
Oh yeah, I mean,
You don't want to read too much into it. I don't think it's necessarily incestuous thoughts. It's just there's a woman's form, and that's
Yeah.
So yeah. So she was supposed to be watching the baby. She lost the baby, so she's depression there, and he's trying to make her feel better. She's sleeping all the time because she was responsible for the baby. So Samuel was the baby. So his sin is just an original sin thing, dying unbaptized. Caleb has lust. Thomason does various blasphemy. In the end, Kate, the mother, succumbs to wrath. William's main sin is pride because he thinks, fuck this community, I can go out and do better on my own, which really extends to the main thing, the fate of the family, really, is the idea of the family. They all pay the price of their hubris, leaving the civilized sort of godly settlement and trying to tame nature on their own without the Lord's protection. Because you might say, well, we know that the devil's in this movie. He literally shows up. Spoilers. It's like, where is God? But it's kind of like God has left them out because it's weird because they're devout. He's very devout, but the idea of the Puritans as a whole will be like, you guys have sort of forsaken God because you.
That's Old Testament
abandoned
God,
us.
though. That's straight up Old Testament God. Just allowing them to, wallow in their sin.
Yeah. Certainly not to intervene or help them in any way.
Right.
They become even more fervent in their prayers, and yet, they're not going to be answered.
This is a perfect example of how to build suspense in a horror movie. Everyone's all about jump scares and all that cheap bullshit.
Yeah,
This is
I
how you
know.
do a terrifying horror movie that stays
sure.
with you and is rewatchable.
And talked about this before with other movies. The lighting in this is all natural light
Mm-hmm. Well,
and candlelight.
it makes sense.
But that's how you can get a landscape like that. That doesn't look too scary, but
Right.
just the idea of what you can't see, right? Through that tree line, there's things that humans aren't supposed to mess with.
A witch and a Bigfoot in those woods right there.
At least one Bigfoot. Of course, we have the weird twins here, right?
Oh
What's
man,
weird is the twins dress like adults, which is really interesting. Because Caleb and Thomas in there, they're basically wearing the clothes that someone of their age should wear. But the twins are dressed up like little adults. I think that's on purpose to make them seem even creepier.
Oh, they nailed those actors, man. They are. I mean, they're scary and annoying at the same time.
Right. Casting was done over in England because Eggers wanted people that would naturally have the right accents.
Smart. Where is he from? Is he English?
No, I think he's American.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's American. He's from New York. Actually, I think that's one of the reasons why I want to do this movie is because he has kind of a connection to the New England area. Because I was always a fan of this style of folklore and this time in horror. Maybe the most famous example, coming about 100 years later, well, a little more than 100 years later, this is The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving. And I always watch that movie, the Burton one, in early November. I never watch it for Halloween. I always think it's a November movie because the leaves are gone and it's bleak yet. As cheesy and over top as that movie is in some ways, I still love it. I still think it's perfect. See, I can like Burton.
Hey, Cliff. What's going on?
Fairuza Balk?
Yeah. Cliff's a big fan of Fairuza.
That's interesting. I haven't seen The Craft in a while.
Oh, Matthew Perry died.
Yeah, I mean, I know that means a lot to a lot of people, but
It means a lot to me. I mean,
I
say what you want. I don't give a fuck. Call me whatever. I like Friends.
Yeah,
I like sitcoms. I like the show a lot, and I would just like to know what happened. I mean, because everybody's
Were
immediately
they saying he drowned or something? I mean, I care because he's a human being and because he was young and I'm sure a good person. He was Canadian.
It sucks either way, but I hope it's not drugs.
But I did not like Friends, and I never saw him do anything. I could never have called him funny, ever. I've never seen him be funny in anything ever. I saw what did he do? He did some really bad movies.
Fools Rush In.
Fools Rush In.
He hasn't really done anything good outside of Friends, unfortunately. But he did a few little rom-coms there on the same period of time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure he was a great person. I have nothing against him personally, and I do feel bad. Of course I feel bad. Terrible thing. But no, I can't think of a single thing he did as an actor that I enjoyed remotely.
We'll save that for another time.
But of course, again, condolences to people that were fans of him and close to him because, it is an awful thing.
Fuck you.
See, I get that reference. I get that was his weird kind of catchphrase shit on.
Oh, shit.
I already saw people making jokes about the fountain. I'm like, Jesus, people, come on. I hated Friends, but that's not a good joke.
Come on, man. I mean, I get it. I mean, I'm all for a good gag, but give somebody a minute to be appreciated.
I don't even like jokes about bad people when they die. I just leave it alone.
Yeah.
If people wanted to make jokes when I don't know, Osama bin Laden was killed, I get it. I just, it's not like, oh, he was a great of course not. The world was better off without him. But it's not me. I'm not going to make jokes about it. He's dead. Move on.
Mr. Bones, what's up, brother?
What happens to the dog? I mean, the
Sure,
whole
he
family
dies somehow. Witch eats
right.
him.
So yeah. So the hare there, or the rabbit again. That's some. I know that seems perfectly normal to see a rabbit in the woods, but it also does connect to the witch if you read the folktale stuff. Sometimes witches could even take their form, but it's supposed to be sort of like a harbinger, sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Foreshadowing.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out this gun. So that's like the wick, I guess, or that somehow makes the
old style musket, right? These are some really primitive firearms.
Oh, there is a hammer. Okay. Yeah, I don't know enough about stuff like that, muskets and stuff.
See, look how they're dressed. It's fucking crazy. I guess a lot of people might not pick up on that because they're not used to seeing period dress. But I'm telling you, that's not how children of that age would dress.
Yeah, see, I didn't notice. I didn't know that they were out of like
they look like they're wearing the clothes adults would wear to like church. That's what they look like.
Oh, man.
They don't at all look like what peasants or whatever would wear in that thing. It's almost like they're done up. Remember how like the hobbits dressed in the Lord of the Rings movies? Yeah. They look kind of like that. Like they're done up in some sort of like weird finery. It's weird. I get it. I'm sure it's on purpose. So Black Phillip, of course. I mean, a goat is already associated with the devil. This is a black goat, so
Would thou like to live deliciously?
So I mean, their sin. I mean, they make some sort of covenant with Black Phillip. But you could say they're young children and they don't know any better. But
so the witch is Black Phillip.
Is the witch? No, the devil was Black Phillip.
Okay, and so that's their sin.
Yeah, because again, the whole thing about the Puritans is even though they're little kids and they don't really understand what they're doing, in Puritan things doesn't matter. Sin is sin. It's extremely black and white in this Puritan view. Like there's no extenuating circumstances for sin.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. Sin is sin. Also, you might say, like, oh, it's like worse to murder somebody than it is to say lie about like seeing somebody doing something bad. But in Puritans are like, no, that's the same.
Even Steven.
Sin is sin.
Man, she's tall too.
Anna?
Yeah.
I can't really tell in that shot, but you're probably right.
She was in a movie I saw recently with another big actress, and she was a lot taller than her.
I mean, she's probably not even finished growing here.
Yeah.
She might have grown.
Well, she
might have grown an inch or two after this. This is 2015. She might have been, like 19?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess she was as tall as she was.
Something like that.
But I think Thomason's supposed to be maybe 16. It's pretty believable.
Mm-hmm. Caleb's maybe, 13, 14?
Yeah. Twins are like 5.
She's done a ton of great movies in such a short time.
Yeah, she's really become an it girl in the last few years.
Like, I know you didn't like The Menu, but I like that one a lot. I liked a lot of the stuff she's done.
No, I didn't.
I didn't like New Mutants. That's one I did not like at all.
I kept putting off watching it and just never got around to it. So I was like, I guess I never liked any of those X-Men movies. Why would I like New Mutants?
That's one that I went out and saw. It was like, COVID, the theater shut down, and it opened up for 90 days, and that's and before it shut down again. And that's one of the movies I saw during that short period of time.
As someone who didn't grow up doing a lot of manual labor and that, I can say splitting logs with an axe is a very satisfying activity. I've always enjoyed.
That's a good
doing it.
workout too.
Yeah, it's always. I mean, I haven't done it in a few years now, but I've done it at my parents' house, and before that, when I was a kid, I learned at my grandfather's house. But because every winter we get all these law brought to us, and most of the time you don't have to split with too many of them, but just sometimes a few are just a little too big. So I haven't done it in a few years, but it's a very satisfying activity.
I think it was New Mutants. She was so much taller than the Game of Thrones girl.
Oh yeah, she is small.
Maisie. Maisie.
Oh, that's the one that played Arya, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think she's very tall.
No. Oh, Taylor Joy. 27 now, yeah. Yeah, so she would have been 19.
She plays 16 well though. I mean, I think you're right. She's going for younger than she is.
Yeah. They never say anybody's ages, but I think it's kind of implied that she's like that. And of course, she's in the Northman.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's going to be. They're making a prequel movie about the character from Mad Max.
Oh, and she's gonna be in there.
She's going to be the main character, the character that what's her name played. That she's going to play the younger version, okay. Charlize Theron.
Awesome.
And Charlize Theron is tall as hell. So
she is. She's like 6 feet, right? Or close to it.
Close to it.
I'll just go ahead and say,
she'd be noticeably taller than me. I can tell you that.
A flying stick.
Yeah, see, they're talking a little about it. I'll tell Mother Black Phillip saith I can see her where they talk about how they've been talking. Devil take your Black Phillip, she says. Oh, if you only knew, the devil did. Either the devil took him or the devil is him. So that's one thing. Was Black Phillip the devil all along, or was Black Phillip just an ordinary goat that eventually got possessed by the devil? I don't, we know. So now they first start talking about a witch. And this is where she says, I am a witch. Spoiler, she's going to be one by the end.
Is this a sin? Her saying that she's a witch? Probably, right?
Well, she's lying.
Okay.
At the very least. But I mean, bearing false witness is what happens a few times. Caleb provides false testimony to his mother. Towards the end, she accuses William of his own sort of hypocrisy about letting her take the blame for things that weren't her fault. I mean, she really does freak them out. Yeah. So, I mean, tallish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not 5'10".
5'10"?
He says it's just a shade under 5'10". So, I mean, tall for a woman.
Well, she was a model before, right? So
yeah, and a lot of them are tall.
Standard.
So.
Yeah.
There you go, yeah. So she's taller than me. Not by a lot, but.
Speaking of South African, Anna Taylor-Joy's got she's got quite the story here. Like her dad's Scottish from South Africa. Her mom is Spanish English, born in Zambia, and then she lived in Argentina and England when she was a kid.
Yeah.
And she moved to London, lived in Victoria. She went to school in Buenos Aires.
Argentina.
She's all over the fucking globe, man.
Yeah.
Pretty diverse.
I do want to see the version of Emma she's in. Which came out in, I think, 2020. You know, I've seen multiple versions of that book. I've seen at least 2 other versions of Emma. I haven't seen this newer one, so.
Have you seen Queen's Gambit?
No, that was another one of those shows that was really popular for a
Yeah.
while. People were talking about chess and all this stuff, and I was like, what? I'm
Never
sure it
saw
was good. I don't know. I suck at chess. I've always been bad. I don't have the patience for it.
I like it. I'm not good at it.
Well, I mean, it takes practice, right? And I don't practice. I play like every once in a couple of years. I don't have good memories of chess because the most chess I ever played was like when I had to stay at the hospital. So not great memories really of playing chess.
What's going on, Brian? Yeah, no, I like chess a lot. I'm probably terrible at it now. Just because it's probably like a muscle memory you need to.
Years ago, Orc and I used to play it like online or whatever, and he always beat me easily.
Really? Oh, that'd be fun as hell. We should do that.
Yeah, I guess there's still simple little programs to do that. Because this was ages ago. This was like quite a few years ago.
Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of options.
He always trounced me. Like, I know I'm smart, but I'm not think 3 moves ahead smart.
Mm-hmm.
I never have been. I want to be. You know, you want to be a strategic thinker. I don't know. Chess is hard. You know, I play a lot of strategy RPGs, but they're a little bit different. They're not as locked in as chess, right? There's more variables.
Mm-hmm.
So look at this, just candlelight. Which is good. I mean, it gives you a sense of how people really live then. How dark a night would be.
A la Barry Lyndon.
Yeah. But this is out in the wilderness, right? So dark is dark. But yeah, I feel bad when, you know, like a while ago when we had our storm, I lost power for a while. When the power came back, power surge fried my cable box, which I wouldn't care too much because I got rid of all my channels and stuff, but it was a PVR and I had a bunch of stuff taped on there, including Barry Lyndon. So that really sucks that I lost that. Would have liked to have been able to watch it again.
Yeah.
I also lost a bunch of Yasuhiro Ozu movies. So I'm pretty close to maybe finally a box set of his late work is on DVD has been out for like years and years. And it's almost been on my Amazon wish list for years. I'm like, I should just finally buy it so I can own those movies. Because I love them so much. There's the rabbit in the barn. It's interesting to think of a rabbit seeming menacing, but it does.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to take.
We're just coming up to about 31 minutes, by the way. If anybody's interested, we're about 31 minutes in.
I'd like to take these two, the husband and wife, and transport them to current times and see how they feel about things.
They go into epileptic shock in like 5 seconds.
See if they see anyone sinning.
I mean, even just to see the modern world, it would just be overload your brain, I would assume.
Yeah, oh yeah.
To see like you know, even in a city I live in, I don't live in a big metropolis, but just for them to like see like, you know, a modern building, you know, like a building that's 5 or 6 stories high. Oh my God, you know,
They're witchcraft or
cars,
devil.
Because the other thing the Puritans believed in, like they kind of embraced the misery of their existence because they were always like earthly suffering is good because it's good for spiritual transcendence and it'll make heaven better. You know, that was kind of their thinking. So I guess that's one way to get through a super hard life in the 1600s in the New World, where it's you against nature and the elements and nobody lives to be over like 50 and everybody, you get a cut on your finger, it gets infected and you die. Women are dying in childbirth, all this stuff. You know, it's a harsh, harsh world. Like, it's funny, we now think about like society, like one of the worst things, maybe the worst thing that can happen in society nowadays is when children die, right? whether it's by disease or something else, what a tragedy it is for children to die. But for like most of human existence, children dying was so normal that I'm not saying it didn't upset people, but they were just more used to it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you had a family, you had 3 or 4 kids. There's a good chance maybe 1 or 2 of them died died before they were born or died shortly after being born.
Mm-hmm.
You look up a lot of historical figures and things like that from hundreds of years ago, and you'll find out they were like from big families, and then you find out like most of their siblings didn't make it to adulthood and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying it was less of a tragedy then. I'm just saying it happened more, so people were more used to it. It was just something you just went on with. You were like, well, people die, even little babies and children die. And nowadays, it still happens, but it's different. There's a different mindset. They're talking about how Samuel wasn't. See, Sam is in hell.
Have you seen Donald Trump? Do you think he should step in?
Donald Trump don't trust China. China is asshole.
It's all work.
What up?
What's up there?
How's it going?
Watching a movie.
Timestamp. Go.
Just past 34 minutes.
It's on HBO or Max or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah. Thomason wants to leave.
34:20.
Yeah, pretty much. Coming up to 30 now.
Mine's only counting backwards for some reason, so I don't know.
So here's the horse, right? There's a horse here in the stable or barn or whatever. And there's a part of the movie where I believe Thomason is riding the horse and falls off. And then we never see the horse again. It's like, what do they do? Like, kill it for dropping her?
What are you doing?
I love that the actor playing Caleb's name is Harvey Scrimshaw. Scrimshaw?
That's a hell of a fucking name.
Sounds like he should be in the lighthouse.
What's going on, Ben?
Right, so he still thinks he can help the family by finding food in the woods. And it's not going to go well. Don't go in the woods. Right, this is the sequence. So yeah, she's going to fall off the horse at some point during this, and then the horse is just gone. Like, did the horse bolt into the woods? They don't talk about it.
You've seen this before, right, Or?
Yeah, I saw this when it came out, and I've only seen it once, I think. Yeah.
They caught something. Ah, see? Thomason, yeah. Thomason was born in England. She's telling him about England. So I think Caleb and the younger kids were born here. But Thomason was actually born in England. So, yeah. She was talking about glass windows. Okay, so Caleb was born there too, because he says he doesn't really remember. Yeah, so only the twins and the baby were born over here. So obviously Caleb was quite young. There's another rabbit. The horse doesn't like it. No, the dog's name is Fowler. Okay, I missed that before.
We'll never see the dog again. Right?
So I don't know. We never see the horse in there. I guess she like hit her head or something. I love how it looks. They're like literally tied up. That's some good parenting right there. I guess the horse just bolted into the woods. And it went black because I assume Thomason like hit her head and lost consciousness when she fell. So now Caleb's on his own, but he's got the gun.
Shotgun's twice as tall as he is.
Yeah, I know. It's really not great protection at all.
No, he couldn't hit anything with that thing.
And he does what they do. He's praying.
Nope, we saw you try to pick at those titties.
You're damned.
Yep, it's over, bud. Sorry, bud.
Lusting after your sister. Even though the Bible's filled to the brim with incest.
Hey, don't nitpick.
Yeah, there, the dog's dead. I think we just saw the dog was ripped open, right?
Yeah.
It was a quick shot, but yeah, poor Fowler.
think
I mean, the
it
whole
was
family gets it
bleeding,
except
too.
her.
It was just the entrails. Were
Yeah, it
hanging
was a
out.
quick shot, but yeah. As I said, I like this setting, the 1600s, 1700s woods, New England Gothic type thing, which is why, like, even back then, I hated M. Night Shyamalan. Like, I wanted to like The Village because I liked the setting, and then I saw the movie. It's crap, but I remember like seeing it and being like, this might actually be good, but it was not. Especially since the setting was a lie. It was all a lie.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers.
job, Ben.
Guys.
You're made of more mortal stuff than me.
I'd respect her privacy as well.
Oi.
I am your daughter.
I haven't seen that movie in 100 years.
Are you mad?
I don't like it anymore. It's boring to me now.
It's been so long, I can't remember it. Right, so Thomason makes it back, but Caleb's just going to stumble across the witch's house.
Yeah. Did you ever see that movie, Gretel and Hansel, or however they did it?
Well, the one with Jeremy Renner?
No. This
Oh.
is like a
'Cause
horror
I saw-
thing.
Because I saw Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters, which had
Oh.
Jeremy Renner and somebody else is like,
Yeah.
It was
I
really
think
shitty.
that one had Famke in it.
Oh, was it Famke? Okay. I was thinking it was one of those Bond girls that.
I never.
Yeah, she was a Bond
Momka was a Bond
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
Oh,
With Scene Bean, dude.
See, there's the witch in her alluring form. I love the red.
Is she still this hot?
well, she's not.
I mean,
Dan would know.
I don't know who this actress is.
Oh, the actress? Oh, I thought you were talking about the witch.
I don't know what he meant. It's like the witch is not usually this hot. No, the witch is usually a disgusting old crone. But right now she's in her.
Well, you know
sexy
what?
eyes.
If you gotta die, I mean,
Well, the thing is, he doesn't die, right? She really fucks him up. And the whole thing is, we don't know exactly what she does to him, right? We don't know. She does something to him.
he's hard as a rock right now.
Well, there's no controlling that.
Oh, yes.
Intermission.
Yeah.
I love movies that hold on the black like that. Where it's like, did it just shut off?
Do what? Hey, turn the movie back on. Shit.
Hey, brother.
God damn it.
Bloody rubbish.
So Thomason is lost. The dog, the horse,
And her brother.
the brother, the baby brother, and
She
the
lost
gun.
the baby. Yeah.
You've lost everything we have.
Yeah. All we have left are the Moron twins.
Yeah. From it.
So they call it Gretel and Hansel? That's weird. Why would they reverse it?
Oh yeah, that one. I was thinking about Witch Hunters again. Yeah.
Which
They
is the one
reversed
I
it.
know.
I don't know. I guess to be different, but
Yeah.
no. What I was going to say about it is, I was expecting it to be more in the vein of this movie.
Yeah.
It was just not a good movie. It's kind of boring and not good. I mean, it was
believe
beautifully shot and everything, but just didn't work.
I mean, as far as movies with witches go, this is right at the top. Because most movies with witches are more silly. Like, again, this is really embedded in the folklore and the legends and stuff. Not that all that stuff isn't crazy, it is, but like I said, when you lived in a world like this, it was totally believable. Yes, he already damned his whole family to death. We know that. He did it at the very start. When he did whatever he did to get them kicked out. Yep, Gretel and Hansel.
Oh, I didn't know I was playing the video. Let's see. So yeah, it's more in like a grim fairy tale type thing.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the girl from Stranger or from It, and everything else lately.
Yeah. See, I like the It movie, the first one, not so much the second one. But if I had a main problem with it, was that I didn't like her casting. She's nothing like the character in the book. They made her really tomboyish. And I'm not just saying because of short hair. There's more to it than that.
I like those movies. I have a lot of problems with the second one, but
The second one, I can't believe how, even with the first time I saw it in theaters, that whole, showdown in the sewers is so long.
too
I kept thinking, when are they going to wrap this up? When are they going to, it just kept going. They kept adding all this stuff, all this extra. I mean, the book is a super long book, and yet you're adding all this shit to, drag this stuff out even longer. So, yeah.
Yeah. But casting, I think, was a big problem I had.
I didn't really mind the adult versions.
I mean, I think they did fine with it, but I didn't think it was necessary to cast superstars, Hollywood elites as the kids. I think it'll be even better because it kind of takes me out of it when it's, you got fucking, Professor X and goddamn the redhead up there, in the same scene together. It's kind of throws me off a little bit.
I mean, I knew Bill Hader.
Yeah, Bill Hader too.
Trying to think who else I actually knew. Well, Jessica Chastain, obviously.
Jessica Chastain.
I'm a fan of hers. Although she hasn't done anything too great lately, but there was a time when she did a lot of movies I really liked. Actually, she's in one of my, again, underrated, I think, movies for horror and stuff, which is what is it? The Guillermo del Toro one. What's that one called? It's gonna drive me nuts.
Who's in it?
Jessica Chastain's in it. I think Tom Hiddleston is in it. It's a Guillermo del Toro film. Most people seem to dismiss it, but I thought it was really good. It's from around the same time as this movie.
Not Mother.
No, I hate Mother.
Yeah, me too.
Shit.
One with the mutant?
No, it's like a gothic horror type thing. Like a woman gets married.
Oh, Crimson Peak.
Yeah, Crimson Peak. That's Jessica Chastain. She's really good in that.
Okay, I forgot she was in that.
So did they find this? Did they find Caleb?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I know they do eventually find him. Shouldn't split wood at night. That's dangerous. Gotta see what you're doing with that axe. I mean, he can't masturbate, so I assume like he would cut down the whole forest and chop all those wood. What other outlet is there? Okay, so yeah, they found. Okay, I missed it. Caleb's back. They found Caleb, but Caleb's all fucked up. He says you put the devil in Caleb. That's why he's sick. Well, somebody
You
did. But it
just
wasn't
said
me.
the Piz line. What say you? Bloody hell, mate.
These people definitely didn't say mate.
Blimey.
Crikey.
Crikey. I don't even think that expression existed.
There's a
Oh, the
fucking
word.
witch in the woods, mate. Oh, shit.
Yeah, there's a witch out in the bush. That's what they say.
The witch
She's out
ate
in the
your
bush.
baby.
Are you mad?
Okay, now we're just mixing things up. Okay, yeah. So this weird rant that he does before he dies, like, I can't really understand what they mean by it, but I read that, like, since he didn't really understand any of what he was saying, that his father coached him through it by using soccer metaphors, but I have no fucking clue what that means.
Soccer metaphors. All right.
Because the thing is, he has to give a whole bunch of emotion, right? In these lines. Remember, he starts ranting like a madman and stuff. Like, but the actor, the kid, he's young. He doesn't know what any of it fucking means, right? So I think he was having trouble putting emotion into lines that made no sense to him. Even though if I was Eggers, I'm like, your motivation is you're crazy. You know, you don't need to understand what you're saying. The whole point is you've had a mind break because the witch like broke your fucking brain. But
All right, mate. Pretend you're playing a game of footy, right? And you go in and you you get a goal.
let's see if I can read. I don't know where the fuck it was.
And then pretend like you tried to, but they stole the ball from you, and then whatever. I'm like, oh, now you're sad.
But I mean, the fact that they're speaking a very archaic form of early modern English is probably another reason why the movie didn't do well. Is because this movie didn't have subtitles, and I think there was a certain bunch of people that would struggle understanding it.
It's so
Honestly.
many things that make it not like entertaining mainstream,
Like I've read a lot of stuff from that era and Shakespeare plays and stuff, so this stuff's not too hard for me, but I can see how it could trip some people up if they didn't have any experience with it.
Oh no, because people are stupid.
Mm-hmm. Because that's the other thing. I don't want to just be elitist because people are stupid, but it's true. Like I said, many times when people struggle with some language, stuff like that, like I don't feel like you always have to even really know it. Like you can figure shit out through context, right? But people can't. I brought this up before. There's this great part in The Simpsons where Homer is failing miserably trying to make one of those barbecues, like the ones that are like, brick. He's trying to make one of those barbecues, but he drops the instructions in like the cement. I was like, oh, I've lost the instructions. I'll have to use the French side. He looks at it and he goes, Le Grill? What the hell is that? And I feel like, yeah, that's kind of Americans' understanding of other languages.
Exactly.
You go
Por
into a
favor.
French McDonald's and it's like
Le Big Mac.
It's like Lamburger. Like Lamburger, what? I can't figure this out.
Hold on. What they got the metric system?
Moutard?
yeah,
what the fuck could moutard be?
Shit.
It's so exotic.
I don't know. I didn't go to a Burger King.
See, Cole, down here, we only speak American. All right? I'll tell you that much right now, boy.
And sometimes Spanish. I speak English, the same language as Jesus.
I like to watch these videos where they interview like Gen Z, and they're like, "Can you speak a line of British? Do you know any British?" And they're like, "No."
The language of British. The Queen's English. Or the King's English now again. We're back to the King's English. The King's English. Oh, we're back to the King. Toil. That's the life for me as a Puritan. Toil in prayer.
Oh, Timothy, ruffle me feathers.
So being a Puritan means like you're born, and then you have pain, and then you die.
Yep.
Sounds fucking awesome, dude.
But like, if you have enough pain, that's like good. Because
Oh,
if you
yeah.
have like if you have like a lot of it, it helps your spiritual transcendence.
Please.
And then when you get to heaven, it's really good.
It sounds fun, honestly.
Yeah, because you're just like, bring it on, more suffering. I love
Like,
it.
oh, he lost 3 kids. Oh, I'm so jealous of him. You know, shit, I've only lost 2.
We can always have and lose another. So here we go. This is really good job by the young actors. Again, especially considering he really does not know what he really does not want to know what he's saying. Like right now he does. He's blathering about his pain, but he's going to go on a bit of a rant here. Some sort of religious diatribe, kind of screaming about sin.
I thought it was basically just a bunch of fucking nonsense. I didn't know it was actually something I was supposed to, make any sense out of. This diatribe here.
Oh, I forgot about that. Is it a witch ball? There is such a thing as a witch ball, by the way. But that's more Appalachia than New England. No, that's the apple. Ah, all right. The witch gave him the apple. He is witched. They're not wrong, but they're like, she's the witch. She said she was.
Yeah, they're not wrong.
I like how they do actually take this seriously, too, right? The little kids start saying, she is the witch. And they're like, shut up. And she's like, wait, let him speak.
Yeah,
Her daughter
yeah.
really might be a witch.
Hold on, they're 5, but they know what's up.
Yeah, they know what's up. She's a witch. She's like, I'm not a witch. They're like, I don't know. These toddlers seem to have their shit together, and they say you're a witch.
Oi, Mike.
Yeah,
What's up?
you know the ones we had tied to the fucking fence?
I know. That ramble all day talking about the goat. Oh, they're friends with Black Phillip. Children of sin all.
Hey,
That
Mike.
says it all. Doesn't that beat it all?
Come on.
We're coming up to 30 seconds past 56 minutes. Movie really zooms along. It's a short movie.
Yeah, people
Like,
say
okay.
it's slow, man, but I really don't think it is. It's I don't
I don't see how you could possibly think it's slow. Like, there's
I
not a
don't know.
wasted scene in here. Everything progresses the plot.
because people are
Again,
stupid. They're not
people are
used to
stupid,
having to wait like
Yeah.
say 10 minutes for something to fucking happen. Like
Man, I'll tell you what, if it's not machine guns and titties, I'm
fucking
out.
car exploding or goddamn tits. I mean, that's how we could get them to watch some like
Hey, you beast.
some art
And
house
like,
movies.
it shows that they're actually too far gone because like they can't pray. Like they can't do it. physically. They're like, come on, Lord's Prayer. You had that beaten into you since you were like in the womb. And they're like, well, I don't remember the words. I don't know what's going on.
Man, the mom is hot.
Oh, they're all babbling in tongues. Was that like what fucking stupid movie was that? Was that the remake of The Nutty Professor where like Eddie Murphy played like 15 characters? Is that the one where like the old guy's like, somebody gotta call the exorcist? That still pops into my head in moments like this in movies. Like Eddie Murphy in a fat suit is an old grandfather guy going, somebody better call the exorcist. I think that might be the Nutty Professor. See that movie? These and thous are the best. They're my favorite pronouns.
Thee and thou, but is that not historically accurate? I mean, I don't know.
It is. Like I said, this movie is quite historically accurate in the way they dress, the way they speak, what they believe.
I thought it was.
So I guess it's open to interpretation here if he's like actually being saved. I don't think he is. I think it's just delirium.
Yeah, the witch is just
I mean,
playing a trick on him.
The witch cursed him good. He's about to die. Fear Street. Okay, Fear Street is not that accurate. Because yes, I know the third Fear Street has a whole 1600s thing going on in it too, but it's
There actually, you don't know this, but there were a lot of lesbians in the 1600s, openly lesbians, and they had mixed race siblings.
I thought they had to hide being lesbians. Because it's hard for me to remember. Wasn't there this whole thing where someone's like, I saw them together?
I mean, they had to
Like, oh,
hide
shit.
it, but they didn't. They still did it. I mean, when they like hang you for shit like that back then.
Yeah.
They'd hang you for anything back then.
Yeah.
Poor Caleb. I will say that was great acting by that little guy.
Yeah.
Did a great
Hey, it's hard to deliver lines when you really don't know what the fuck you're saying, but he put a lot of oomph into it.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Ben. They'd never do it though, because that would probably.
I mean, that's the only thing I thought was interesting about the Blair Witch movie was the legend and that we never got to see. Instead, we just got idiots stumbling around the woods.
Did anyone see the recent movie, the Blair Witch movie? I guess a remake.
Yeah, the one called Blair Witch.
Is that
Or
what
is
it's
there a more
called?
recent one? Well, there's from just a
Man,
couple years ago. There's one called
like-
Blair Witch.
There's
Yeah.
3 of them. Yeah.
Oh, there's another one? Then I haven't seen that. It has like a
No,
weird time
no.
loop
I mean,
thing
3
going
total
on. in it.
movies. There's Blair
Oh.
Witch, Book of Shadows, and then the one you're talking
I like
about.
Book of Shadows because it's not like the others. It's not good, but I like
I
it
really
because
wanted
it's more
to
like
like
a
the
normal
new one.
movie.
I tried, man, but I
Yeah.
didn't like
The
it.
new one was fucked up. It had like a time loop going on in it, which normally I'd be all for, but I didn't really think fit that kind of movie.
What year did that one come out?
I want to say like 2018, maybe.
Yeah, it was before COVID. That's my basis for things now.
Naked as sin. That's a good line too, because even nudity is bad.
Oh man, that one came out in 2016. Holy shit!
Well, 2016. Okay, yeah.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, they released it with some other alternate title at first, and like just to so people would know what it was as a surprise or whatever.
I mean, I barely remember it. I mean, I didn't like the first one, so I'm not that. A lot of people like Ryan. Ryan's a big fan of that movie, and I know people. I remember years ago, Rambo Raff used to say it was such a classic and stuff, and that's fine. But all that movie ever did for me was give me a headache.
I think it's fine. I don't have a lot of that's it, the woods. I don't think it has a lot of rewatchability for me, knowing everything, because When I first saw it, I've told this story plenty of times, but I thought it was real. That sounds stupid, I know, but we didn't have the internet back then, and or I
That's
didn't.
one of the first sites I remember going to. Was they had a really special that and The Matrix both had like crazy online campaigns with their sites. So I remember going to those. I remember like being pretty sure it wasn't real, but still having that doubt there was something real about it. But
Well, because
You just-
MTV put out the fake documentary,
mhm.
you know, that's mainly why I thought it was real. I think I probably did have dial-up, but I was probably too lazy to use it.
I mean, not too long ago, I was watching like a little documentary about The Exorcist and talking about all the hoopla and hype and stuff that surrounded that movie. People freaking out over it and stuff like that. And it just makes me sad to think that like The Exorcist of my generation was the Blair Witch Project. I was 16.
Yeah.
And that was the movie that everybody was talking about. Was a different kind of movie. It was gonna blow people's minds and stuff. And I'm glad it worked for some people. For me, I never really changed on the found footage thing. I've seen found footage movies that have been done competently in the years since that I'm okay with, but
Yeah.
I feel like it's one of the worst Pandora's boxes we ever opened. Oh
It's
man,
so easy to do. Anyone can do it.
I don't know. I guess I still like that more than I like any of like the Paranormal Activity movies, which might be the laziest movies of all time. I can't think of anything lazier than a movie that's just a bunch of like various camera shots of something kind of happening in a house. And then maybe 30 seconds of something actually happening at the end. they keep
Masterpiece
pumping
of
them out.
film. Yep. You just can't respect good filmmaking, Cole.
I cannot.
You don't know art when you see it, dude.
Yeah, dude. It's because you're Canadian.
Canadians know art.
So what's the best witch movie? Cliff asks. I'll go ahead and say this one. I think.
And probably this one.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I do like other movies with witch stuff in it, but they're more silly and over the top. Like, it's a really, as part of like Nick Cage's long spiral of doing a bunch of crazy crap. He did a movie called like The Last Witch Hunter or something like that.
Oh, I saw it in the theater. Yeah.
And it's not a good movie, but one thing I enjoyed was that he had really good chemistry with what's his name there? I never remember his name. The character actor, Hellboy. Ron Perlman. He and Ron Perlman were like knights, and they were like buddies. And I liked the movie because I thought they had good chemistry. Like, it was believable to me that they were like friends. I thought they were really good together. It's not a good movie or anything, but it's not called The Last Witch Hunter though, because that's the one that Dumbass is in. They're in. Oh, it's called Season of the Witch. That's what it is. It's called Season of the Witch. The Last Witch Hunter is Vin Diesel. And no, I did not watch it. I mean, I like movies about friendly witches too, but that's not really.
I'm trying to think the one with what is it, Angelica Houston from like.
That's just called The Witches, which is very good. Yeah, it's based on the Roald Dahl novel.
I thought it was,
They did a remake of it a couple years ago that I won't watch.
wasn't terrible. Wasn't terrible.
I really liked that movie and book a lot as a kid growing up. That was a good. They went pretty far with that movie. That's what you could get out of Roald Dahl. Roald Dahl didn't pull punches. He wrote kid stuff for kids, but man, they could get pretty dark and out there. And yes, I know Roald Dahl was a really strong anti-Semite, so I'm not trying to redeem him or anything like that. I'm just saying, as a kid growing up, I really liked his books, including Boy. Boy had a big effect on me.
I just don't think we should go into, socioeconomic stuff with what was happening, 100 years ago.
Fair enough. I mean, Roald Dahl's not that old. I mean, he's certainly. I mean, he was about a much older generation, but still, I mean, it does not excuse his attitudes. I don't think. Well, I mean, he was a real bitch to the very end. I mean, he was pretty old, like in the 80s. And remember when? And I don't.
Oh, he was still alive in the 80s. Okay.
Yeah, because I don't even remember this. I don't remember. I was too young, but we all know that. Remember Salman Rushdie wrote the Satanic Verses. And remember the Ayatollah? They put the death thing on him, right? Because they were mad about the way he talked about Muhammad in a book, right? They put a death thing on him, whatever that's called. What's that called? A fatwa? Anyway, it was a big thing.
Oh yeah.
Salman Rushdie for years had to have like security following
yeah.
around and looking after him because it was a real serious thing that like this nation of Iran or whoever. I think it was what was it, the Ayatollah in Iran? Anyway, they put this very serious death thing on him. And like while most people rally around, we're like freedom of speech, this is ridiculous saying this because you wrote a book and all this shit. And like Roald Dahl, I don't know who asked for his opinion, but he was an author. He wasn't like, I stand in solidarity with my brother author. He was like, well, this guy kind of brought it on himself. That was kind of his attitude. He's like, he shouldn't have done that. And if he gets killed, it's kind of his own fault. It's like, what? Jesus. And I mean, then just what, like a year or two, somebody finally did attack the poor bastard. Took out his eye.
Yeah.
God, that made me sick. For writing a book.
God damn.
So we're at the complete breakdown here of the family unit. The shit has well and truly hit the fan. We're just coming up past an hour and 9 minutes. This is the first time he finally shows some, humility here. I'm infected with the filth of pride, he says. But too little, too late. God doesn't care at this point. Yeah, Beetle, I'm not watching Rings of Power. I care too much about that lore. It's too sacred to me to watch them muck it up.
Give me thy pancakes with syrup.
Oh, that'd be good.
Oh, nice.
Save me some perks.
I have no idea what anyone is talking about. Oh, the blackness. I love it. Did they tether her up in the barn, or is she just out there by choice?
She's in the barn. He nailed her up in there. Like,
oh, the twins are there too. I mean, the twins are legit batshit crazy, so I understand putting them there. Hey, was it Matthew? No, that wasn't Matthew Perry. Was it David Schwimmer who was in Breast Men?
Yeah.
See, that was a good movie because it had a lot of breasts, but Matthew Perry wasn't in it with David Schwimmer.
I think David Schwimmer's actually made good stuff outside of Friends.
That's the only thing he could do. Otherwise, he made no good stuff at all.
Well, I mean, he was a funny guy. He would have either done Friends or another sitcom of that type. He had a lot of offers on the table. A lot of those guys did. They were all hot,
Yeah. I can't deny that. All right. Yeah, he's back. See? Caleb has come back with the baby. They're alive. I forgot about this. The mother sees them.
I think she's just hallucinating.
I think everything is so calculated that it probably is, again, something the witch deliberately sent, I think, more so than a hallucination. Although, I mean, it's possible. I just feel like this all really is the machinations of the witch ever since they came in contact.
Yeah.
Man, that woman has large, wide nostrils.
Mm-hmm.
It's really distracting.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I actually forgot about this scene. I forgot that she sees Caleb. and the baby. I brought a book for you, Mother. You look at it with me. Yeah, because isn't it something like, yeah, she's going to try to breastfeed the baby. Isn't something really going to chew on her?
I think so.
Or am I forgetting?
I've seen too many movies where that's happened. So
There's the witch, by the way, in the flesh. Fan disservice, as they say. Yeah, there she is. She's hallucinating. Yeah, it's a crow pecking at her breast. Yeah, that's right.
oh, that's so disturbing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's eating it too. The bird's actually eating it.
Yeah. And she's smiling and laughing because she thinks it's her baby.
That's great. However they pulled that off, man, they did a great job. I know animals are hard to work with.
They must have put something on that, it would want to peck at.
Right. Well, sure. Yeah. I assume that, but it just looked so real.
So now her mind's broken too. So the only sane ones left are William
You and the witch.
and Thomason. Because, the twins have been loopy since almost the start.
Right.
We don't actually see what ultimately happens to the twins, but it's pretty much understood they die. Everybody dies except Thomason.
This guy looks like I don't know, had fetal alcohol syndrome.
Black Philip is asserting himself.
Oh,
So here we go. Here's your Christianity versus
no.
versus the
Yeah.
pagan evils of the natural world. Christianity has an axe, but I'm still not betting on them.
Kind of on the nose with that. A Black Phillip tattoo would be awesome. I would never do it because it's kind of satanic, but it would be cool.
I don't know. It'd be all right. It's not as on the nose as like a pentagram or something.
Yeah. I would know though.
It's like, I guess so. It doesn't mean much to me. Like, if I thought 666 was cool, I guess I get a tattoo because it doesn't mean anything to me. It's a number.
Yeah.
It's a fucking number, Dan.
I figure, better safe than sorry.
It comes before 667 and after 665.
I got a fucking epic tattoo. I get the McDonald's arches on my asshole.
You should do it. Not on your asshole, but you should.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get a McGriddle right on your back.
Weren't there, like, I remember years ago, people that actually got, like, paid to, like, have, like, logos, like,
Oh,
official
yeah.
logos put on them?
I think so, yeah.
It was a
You
dude
could
had
do
a
that, or-
cream on his forehead and shit like that.
You got a big canvas to work with. You could, you gotta add space. You gotta add space.
Actually, the
Where-
Supreme guy did it for free, I think.
Where do you mean, Cole? What kind of canvas? Where?
Broad, we'll say broad. I'm a good canvas too because I'm really pale. So
You guys
colors
both
are-
have tattoos. I don't know if I can get one. I bleed.
Mine
too
are pretty
much.
lame though. Mine are
Oh,
really
man.
simple and lame.
If I had the money, I would be covered. I mean, I am
mean,
pretty much covered, but I mean,
The last tattoo I got was like 8 years ago, and I keep saying I'm getting more, but I keep not doing it. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not even getting any more.
I want to do like my knees, and I want to see if I can fill in some of the spaces on my legs. And I'm gonna finally get my first one like below my my elbow.
I want to get the LGBLT barbecue
That's
plus
below.
flag. Represent my trans pride.
Uh-oh. I mean, they say it's self-defense, but I mean, is somebody really killing you if they're like slapping you? How long would it take her to slap her to death? Because it's like Thomason like kills her in self-defense, like if she has to. But if someone's attacking you by going,
It's
I
hard
just
to
don't
stay
know.
as a man. I can't really.
Okay, there. Now she's got her by the throat. So okay, that's different.
Oh yeah.
But maybe she wouldn't have had her by the throat. Yeah. So now she just has to keep clonking her. So she let go of her. Okay. So yeah. But at first it's just a slap attack. I mean, if it's not like a sumo wrestler on top of you slapping you, you're probably going to be okay.
This
Do
movie
the
should be shown
slap.
in schools. It's great.
It should be.
And today in history class,
And pass out a copy of the King James with every viewing.
Again, the movie is historically accurate in many ways. And you can't disprove the witch. Maybe there were.
Oh, he was in The Office. Huh.
Yeah,
I should remember that.
That's the one I like. I don't like the American Office, but I like the British one.
Yeah, I won't get into it. They're different. They're extremely different shows.
They're quite. I mean, that's why. I mean, if the
I mean,
American
in
was
every
more,
aspect.
if the American was more like the British one, maybe I would have liked it more. Like again, I didn't hate it. I watched like every single episode except the last one, so I put time into it. I'm not going to say it was all torture. Some of it was okay.
Cole.
Mike,
why do
my
you
main
hate
problem
We've
was
had
I
this for a
thought that
while.
the Michael Scott character overwhelmed everything. Like I thought it was good when he left, not because I hated him. He just kind of took over. Like the other characters didn't get much time to shine or do anything. Because some of the secondary characters aren't bad at all.
I agree.
But I don't know. I'll probably never watch it again.
Thank you, Mike, for supporting my sexual preference.
Thank you for respecting orc sexual preference.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. I'm announcing on the show while we have a little bit of quiet time towards the end of the movie that I will be competing in the Olympics as a female.
Nice.
I identify. So here I come, Michael Phelps. Yeah.
There was a bodybuilder in the UK. This was a few months ago now, but he did that and like he beat like every record in the in the competition.
Because yeah, I remember there was a story about one of those bodybuilder things. It's just like what the timing is a little strange on this guy's part, and that like he'd been a bodybuilder, never really reached the top level. Then in his mid-30s was like, I will be a woman, and suddenly he's like a top, like that's a little suspect the timing.
Well,
there.
if it's the same guy I'm talking about, he was doing it as he was trying to prove a point.
No, this guy was legitimately. This was American. He was legitimately trying to just continue his career. He got into his mid-30s. He was past his peak. He'd never really achieved the level. He wasn't going to win any medals or something. He's just like, wait a minute, and then he, said
Well, you
that
could
he was
say that with a
transitioning.
lot of those folks. I mean,
Like I said, I'm on the side of I believe people. I'm just saying with that person in particular, I was like, this is kind of suspect. It seems clear that you're just trying to accomplish something in athletics that it's got nothing to do with, your actual identity or anything like that. But I mean, most people, they don't go through all that.
maybe I'm thinking of Canada. If so, I apologize.
I don't know. I don't even keep track of it. I like how people stand up about that kind of stuff too. It's like They hear like some random person that never gave a shit about swimming in their entire lives, could not care less. They find out like at some college,
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
some trans person is, and then suddenly they're like, "What? Oh my god!" It's like you never cared, and now you care.
But I mean, like, if I was a dad of a daughter on that team who doesn't have a fucking chance of doing anything now, you know,
Mhm.
that would piss me off.
Yeah, this
So
is
it
such
is
an
an
epic
answer,
ending.
yeah.
Like by this time, like in the theater, I was like riveted. Like they're all dead, so she comes in to talk to Black Phillip. This is
Oh, I
so
was too,
great.
man. My fucking jaw was just open.
This scene is incredible. This is one of the best scenes of any horror movie. Because we don't see Black Phillip. We just see her. We're like, she's talking to a goat, right? Just as thou understand my English tongue. Yes, I saw Fury get dropped by Ngannou. I saw a clip.
Gano's a bad man.
Like I said, yeah. Fury might be the better boxer, but if Ngannou hits anybody clean, you know, it doesn't matter who they are, right?
That's dude's scary.
There we go. What does thou want?
But so is
I
Fury.
gotta turn this off. I want to hear the voice. What canst thou give? That's a great line.
Ooh.
Deliciously. Right, so total triumph over the Puritan system here. Because she's getting
How
the
about you
things that
guys?
the Puritan system denies her. Sexuality, independence, agency, freedom. All those things she was taught she's not supposed to have. And she's bad for wanting them. Dost thou see a book before thee?
Living deliciously sounds like a lot of fun, I will say. I don't blame her. Well, I mean, her whole family's dead too, so I mean, why not?
And now it's time
This-
for nudity.
at this point.
Remove thy shift. Nudity is a part of it. Nudity is sinful too. Remember, in the garden, Adam and Eve were fine, but then they ate that fruit, and suddenly they couldn't be naked anymore. Suddenly it was a bad thing.
Oh, give me some leaves or something. Shit.
The gift of shame.
Give me a fig leaf. Fuck. Dumb bitch. Hey, fuck this up. Give me a leaf.
Oh, I missed the part where you actually saw his hand, like where it was clear he transformed, but I missed it. Now you just see it following. Oh, it's a great shot. Her walking naked into the blackness. I mean, the movie could have ended right there, but they do give us a little more.
Yeah, it could have ended there and you would still be a little bit like,
Yeah.
wait, what?
Because now we find out there's like not just one witch, there's a whole fucking coven of them.
It's a coven. It's like oven. It's like oven, man.
So this is like some sort of troupe of like dancers doing this. But the chant is real.
This was worth an hour and a half.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
such an easy runtime.
That's it. I mean, if you think this movie's slow, how impatient are you? Because I mean, I get it. It still is a slow build up, and it's not all jump scares and bullshit. It's gradual, but it still happens at a pretty good pace.
Hey, you ladies interested in a warlock?
They don't even acknowledge her. They're too busy in their trance. But they're like, look, we can fly. Don't you want to fly? All you have to do is butcher a baby. And she rises.
Hell yeah, brother. I'm covered in the blood of babies.
I mean, the only jump scare in the movie is Black Phillips coming out of the frame and just slamming into William, and it's great. It's well done,
Well, that's well done.
and it's earned. It's not bullshit faking you out like so many like slashers and stuff do.
Just
You always
like
have to have your
what do they
fake
call it,
jump scare first.
the jumping cat or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Masterpiece. Fucking masterpiece.
Probably by many folk tales, fairy tales. Yeah, I love it. Like I said, it is rightly considered one of the greatest horror movies of the decade, the 2010s. But I think it's one of the greatest movies of that decade for sure, easily. Love
Man, I need to do some research on witches.
There's some great stuff out there. Just don't go down like the rabbit hole of demons and demonology. The
I've
amount
done
of
some of
thought,
that before. Yeah.
the amount of thought and like the people put into that stuff back then, like whole books about them, and their hierarchy and their rules and how they relate to each other and who does what. It's just insanity. Thinking. But I mean, that's just part of religion too. You look into Christian and Judaism and even Islam. Look about the stuff about angels. Like there's just so much stuff about kinds of angels and who does what, and it's all really interesting stuff. That's the thing. Like, I know a lot about religious stuff because it's interesting. I just don't believe it. I think it's very interesting. I know the Bible pretty well. I think the Bible is an incredibly interesting literary text, but people are just like, it's the word of God. I'm like, okay.
All right. They brought it up, so I'm going to have to play it.
Oh, God. Hell of a debut, too. First. What is this?
You. I wish you saw more of me than just brains, though, Give them time. Men are like another species.
Oh,
They're really
Cole, if
hard
you
to
haven't
get
seen
used to.
this, you're in
Take
for a
Rep,
treat.
for example.
No idea what this is.
Capoletti? You like Rep, Molly.
That's Robin Ivy.
I mean, he's not exactly my type.
No, not
but
Ivy. Robin.
he's cute. Yeah, and he's really nice and he's really funny. I heard him in class once.
Lively. Yeah.
Oh,
Whatever
he
I
has the
said. Yeah,
cutest
lively.
walk. Yeah, I guess I could.
No, I don't know. I know
Jason
Blake
Lively.
I know who
Blake
Blake Lively is.
Yeah, it's her
That's it.
sister. Blake Lively.
So,
I'm king, and they know it. When I snap my fingers, everybody say short. I'm hot, and you're
is
not.
this from back in the day, or is this some sort of
Yeah.
parody of back in the day?
Yeah, this is from Teen Witch.
No, I'm not.
I don't know what
serious.
Teen Witch is.
Oh my god.
This is like the 90s?
89, it says.
Let's go back the other way. No, just go up and
It's not a bad movie. I mean, it's stupid
Are you
for
kidding?
those type movies.
So embarrassed.
I don't know it.
Yeah,
I
fudge is
thought I would. I don't know it. I mean, I know. Wow, these guys are awesome.
I will never be hip.
Nope. Oh shit. She's a witch. She's a witch though.
So the whole thing is, in the middle of this, the one on the right is a witch. And she sees guys dancing like idiots. She decides to use her witch powers.
You can't top that. Oh shit. Oh.
Supersonic, idiotic, disconnected, not respected. Who would ever really want to go and top that? Such a waste of pretty face, but hanging in the space.
I heard that line. The character Kenneth does that rap part in 30 Rock, but I didn't know it was
Really?
She's
Oh,
finally
wow.
real, looking really stop that.
Yeah, the first line she said, supersonic, blah, 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 who would really want to top that? I remember Kenneth does that.
Top that.
That's from a few rap
I'm
songs,
trying
though.
to stop that. Big deal.
Stop that.
Unreal.
You can try to, you blue.
I will make a fool of you. Top that.
I mean, I get this. I just don't get how a witch actually ties into it at all. It just looked like any sort of random 80s, 90s cheese. I had no idea that a witch had anything to do with that. When I think of Teen Witch, I think of, Sabrina, right? Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
So yeah.
Yeah, Sabrina.
Yeah, that's the obvious one.
What's some more witch stuff we're forgetting? A few people that are watching this.
Like good witch stuff or just any witch?
Any witch stuff.
Because, if we're just saying any witch stuff, like Kiki's Delivery Service is one of my favorite movies. The main character being a good witch.
You know, there was Hocus Pocus, but then there's also what's the? Did we bring up the book about the witches? The
Mm.
movie, The Witches, where the kids like there's like a hotel.
Yeah,
the
that's
Roald
what
Dahl
yeah,
one.
the rest of the Roald Dahl
okay,
one, yeah.
okay.
The Witches, yeah.
Riches of
Yeah.
Brestwick, yeah.
Like, I don't know what they do with the new movie, but in the original movie, they actually turn him back into a boy. Again, Roald Dahl does not end the movie that way. The movie, he stays a mouse, and he's happy.
Of course.
And and she says it to like his grandmother, and it's like a really interesting, happy ending too, because it's just like, he's like, how long do mice live? She's like, only about 3 years. He's like, oh. She's like, but since you're a boy that magically
Yeah.
turned into a mouse, I think you might live about 9 years. And he's like, oh. And she's like, isn't that bad? He's like, no, because you'll probably die in 9 years, and I'll die, and we'll both die, and that's good. Is basically what he said, because he only liked his grandmother.
Wizard of Oz.
He didn't care about being a boy or growing up and stuff like that. But yeah, just randomly in the movie, they have like one of the nice witches just turn him back. They're like, yeah, let's not go too dark. Let him be a boy.
There's
But-
all the adaptations of Dreams in a Witch's House. There's a few of those.
But I mean, speaking of people getting offended, this even have to do with Roald Dahl. I remember in the remake, isn't Anne Hathaway a witch in the remake?
Yeah.
Remember she like had to apologize because her character had like 3 fingers or something?
She
And it was like-
apologized to whatever people, some sort of dactyl.
Yeah, it was like because they were
disorder.
saying like they were implying that
can't
like to
fucking
have
believe-
only 3 fingers was like bad or witch. I mean, geez, that's just a physical description. You're talking about the witches. The witches happen to have 3 fingers instead of 5. That's what it's supposed to be. And yet somebody, I mean, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles only had 3 fingers. Does that offend people with less fingers?
Yes.
Are you saying we're turtles? You're saying we're fucking turtles, man? Fuck you, you insensitive clods.
It's pretty offensive
dude.
because like they don't know what it's like to eat pizza with 5 fingers.
But yeah.
You know.
All right. So a big one we've left out so far is Hesperia.
Yeah, Suspiria is a great one. That's one of the best for sure.
I still
And
haven't seen
I do like
2018.
the 2018 is good too. They show maybe a bit too much in 2018, but I guess again they have to do something different. Because in the first Suspiria, the original, like it's a bit more mysterious. Like we find okay, it's like some bizarre coven of witches doing shit, but like a lot of it we don't really see. Like the 2018 one, it's like here's everything they do. It kind of really from the beginning shows you. I don't mind. It's still a good movie. I'd like to watch it again. That movie's a little over the top artsy. I think that movie is really kind of a self-indulgent movie, but it's good. It's still a good, pretty good remake. I mean, it's a movie that you never really wanted to see remade because it's already so great. It's actually a pretty decent remake. But yeah, that's definitely right up there. I mean, yeah, I guess probably The Witch and Suspiria are my favorite movies with witches, as far as like dark, scary witches go.
Yeah, I've forgotten some of these. I didn't even think about them. Yeah, you said The Craft. Of course, Hocus Pocus, which I don't really like. But
No, I've never seen it all the way through. People of our generation are obsessed with that movie too, like our age
Really?
group.
they
Like
don't-
I know Ryan, his sister, like she's 2 years younger than me, and she just was obsessed with that movie as a kid, and she's obsessed with that movie now. And I remember,
maybe his wife too. Yeah.
like last year, wasn't it like some sort of like anniversary of it of some kind? And they had this big thing on Disney Plus about it. I didn't watch it because I don't care. All I
They did
remember
the
about that
thing-
movie was like they really slammed some kid hard for being a virgin. I'm like, he's like a 14-year-old boy, and you're all like mocking him for being a virgin. I'm like, come on, isn't that a kind of
Get your
harsh?
wick wet, you fucking piece of shit. What are you doing?
Yeah, Black Sunday is good. I was just gonna say, speaking of Suspiria, you know, there's quite a few of those Italian horror movies that do some witch stuff that's pretty good. Black Sunday, yeah, that's kind of the beginning of it. Mario Bava.
What's up, Drew?
But the funny thing about Hocus Pocus last year was like there were some like conservative figures in the U.S. like flipping out about it. Like one of them went on TV and said like not only was it like a demonic movie, but like watching it would somehow like affect you through the TV. So I was like, why do you give airtime to people like this? Like
Wait,
they
which
are off their fucking rockers.
what movie?
About Hocus Pocus itself, like last year, because again, it was like a big event because it was like
Last year?
Yeah, last
Really?
year. Yeah.
Wow. Okay,
She was
that's
saying,
an
I think
odd
it's
thing
very-
to
It was just some,
go
I don't know
after,
who
you
she
know?
was, you know, just some random blonde crazy woman in the US, right? They're like, let's give her airtime and listen to her nonsense. she's on saying, I think it's a very demonic movie and stuff like that.
Hold on.
It's like, but she didn't just mean like what's in it is like, black magic. She meant like watching it will affect you like through the TV or something like crazy. Witchfinder. That reminds me, I used to watch in the late 90s an anime called Witch Hunter Robin, which was pretty good. Although the witches were quite different as you might expect in that. I was thinking
Witch
about
Hunter
some
Robin?
of the anime I watched back in the day, because before we started the movie, Jay and I were talking about certain things becoming more popular now. I just remember what it was like being an anime fan in the 90s. I mean, obviously, you could say now it's better because it's everywhere, but I don't know. The same thing as the comic thing. I kind of miss when those things were more mine and not as mainstream.
Yeah,
But I mean, it's good. It's good. I mean, it's good. I don't want to. I mean, I'm glad for Marvel movies and stuff like that, although it always will create a backlash now. Whatever.
All right.
It's weird to see the
This-
thing you like that didn't get credit become popular and eventually get a backlash for being popular. It's a weird
Oh,
thing
I
to
know,
see.
man. Like I this shit missed me by about 15 years, or it would have I would have been totally engrossed in Marvel movies. Because
I mean, I
was
like
really
them,
into
but they don't
comics,
replace.
and-
But they don't replace the comics one.
like we got that shitty Fantastic Four, that Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie and stuff, like when I was into comics. So.
Yeah, I mean, the best comic book movie when I was a kid was The Crow, which
Mm.
I'll be watching in just another day because I was watching for Devil's Night.
All right.
Teenage Mutant
Episode.
Ninja Turtles.
That's a great one too.
Fuck yeah.
Look at your M closely. There's a gap right here in the letter M. It's never connected. So you go into Hebrew. The letter
boy.
Vav is also the number 6.
Facts.
Short top, long tail. Short top, long tail.
Ooh, she's
could
getting
have here
Kabbalistic on us.
666 on the can. But my interest is the word monster. What do you see in the O?
The devil.
There's a cross.
Okay.
What has Christ got to
Okay,
do
this
with
is
an
a person.
energy drink, let
I'll
alone
hear
the
you
name
out, crazy
Monster?
person.
So I thought, well, maybe this is a Christian company then. BFC at the bottom of the can. Do you know what that stands for?
Big fucking
It's the
Christians.
F word. Big can.
Oh, that
Oh,
was big
In
fucking
fact, they
Christians.
write it on the side of the can, so I know that's the F word.
Oh.
Big fucking
now, do you know
cunt.
what a MILF is?
Yes.
That's
Ah. What does the F word have to do with
and you will
this
too.
Jewish stuff, though?
This is not
MILF,
a Christian
nigga?
company
It really
at all.
said
So
I gotta
why
get
would
me
they
some
have
more of
cross
this
on
shit.
can?
Jewish people invented the F word? That's fucking badass.
Antichrist. 666.
That's another thing we
Hebrew.
owe them. We owe them
And
so
then the
much if they
Bible
invented
talks
the F
about
word.
beast in Revelation.
I think
Oh,
their F word is fatwa.
This is the statement.
Yeah, isn't that the
You
thing?
see
with-
these M's everywhere. Hats, T-shirts, bumper stickers. Is there another agenda here?
Yes.
I never
If God
drank a
can
monster,
use
but now I
people
kind of
and
want to.
product, So can
You've
Satan.
never had a monster?
And look at it this
I
way.
don't drink energy drinks. They
Even
don't.
if
I don't
the M
need
was
them.
not the issue, you cannot
I don't
deny
need to
that
stay
that is a
awake. I
cross.
stay awake all by
And
myself.
what is witchcraft?
All
When the
right.
cross.
Gee.
Wrap it up, lady. But yeah, she's definitely the same type of person as the one that's just like flipping out about hocus pocus.
But if
It's
you
demonic
drink
influence.
Monster, you can get MILFs. Don't you want MILFs, dude?
I do, yes.
Yeah, okay.
I too have indulged my brother.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a cult anyway. Like, I like cult stuff too. I like Wicker Man. I like cult stuff. Unfortunately, cults like aren't done well in most movies. There's very few where I actually like it.
You like Nicolas
Would Wicker Man
Cage? That was a good
qualify?
movie.
I don't know.
Good movie.
It's fun to watch the Nicolas Cage remake because he goes insane in it.
It's a fun movie. Stupid movie.
I do actually like the twist in, well, not the twist, but the little change in the Nicolas Cage remake that like it's like all women. In the original, it's not all women. It's just crazy island.
A whole town trying to burn you alive. That's great.
No. Well, you should, yeah. If you've only seen the remake, you should see the original because the original is very good. But it's another one of those things that seems sort of tame by today's thing. But yeah, if you think about it, back in the 70s when it came out, it was pretty cool. If you like something like that, like the idea of like a crazy cult on an island, a couple years ago they made a mini series with I always get them mixed up. I want to say Oh no, I'm not going to remember anybody's name. Hold on. It was called. I think The Third Day or something like that. Anyway, it wasn't bad. It was like maybe 6 or 7 episodes. Jesus, I can't remember anybody's name. Jude Law, I think. I think it's Jude Law. Anyway, it's about some crazy pagan island with a bunch of weirdos, cult stuff going on, and Jude Law visits, and he had a daughter or something that went missing. It's interesting. It's not too long.
That sounds familiar.
But yeah, if you're into stuff like something like that, like weird European pagan cult shit, like it's that.
What's up, Cracker Rock?
Witchy woman.
What is it? Oh, no, not the beast! Yeah! Not the beast! Ah!
Only Nicolas Cage can do this kind of act. I like how he screams at how they're in places they're not.
They're on my arms.
They're not on your arms, Nick. They are.
Yeah.
I mean, the best clip of that movie is him being in the bear suit and punching out the woman.
Well, I mean, if they're all women, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. I mean, it'd be funny to see him punch anybody in a bear suit, but a woman does make it a little funnier.
Yeah, he was like the most serious guy on set that day.
I mean, the original.
No, dude, we'll throw the bees in later. There's no problem. He's like, no.
They're digital bees. I mean, yeah. But I mean, the original Bewitched show came out in like the early '60s, and that didn't set like America on fire, like flipping out. So like, I don't know what's going on. Like that was the early '60s. I don't remember reading anything about people being like, "Oh, show about witchcraft." Oh my god, you know. And that was 50 some years ago.
I don't know. I guess the Baptists attached themselves to a lot of that shit because there's all. I mean, it's really come full circle. We're back now. I see Halloween decorations everywhere. Everybody's excited for it and stuff. It's cool. But there was a period of time when it was all that trunk or treat bullshit. Like hardly anybody even did, trick or treating anymore.
Because I mean, I remember in the late '90s, or just into maybe the start of the 2000s, when the Harry Potter books were getting really big, and the first movie was going to come out. There was a big backlash in America against that about witchcraft and black magic, and oh my god,
yeah.
So, another shot. That's in one of the I think Treehouse of Horror episodes, where Ned Flanders is reading Harry Potter to his Rod and Todd, and he's like, and then Harry Potter and all his witch and wizard friends went straight to hell for practicing witchcraft.
Those are great. That's what I need to do. I need to revisit some of those. There's just so many of them. I try to watch them all sometimes, and it's too many. The Treehouse of Horrors. They're still good though. I'll at least watch that on the new Simpsons at the very least.
I mean, a lot of them, the Treehouse of Horrors, like they'd done all the ideas, so most of them had nothing to do with Halloween or even horror anymore. It was just, here's some random weird story, So, I mean, that's why the early ones are the best ones. It's not just because of the era, but just because of the subject matter. Like they might actually have to do with like monsters or trick or treat or things like when they did the parody of like The Shining and stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I still like the show.
Rising.
I don't know how much of that is just to keep it alive, but
Yeah. I mean, the problem is, like I said, most people, I think, abandoned The Simpsons in like the mid 2000s when there were some terrible episodes, and I kind of did too. And then it did rebound. And I think what gets lost is there was a period where there were good episodes again, but I don't know who the hell was watching. Like even I didn't watch them that much. So I feel like even if great episodes are coming out now, like the audience for it isn't around anymore. It's like there can still be great episodes, and I don't know. I got Disney Plus. I could watch them. It's like, let's watch season 22 and see if it's any good. I don't know.
It's extremely topical, and I know it always has been, but it's even more so now. It's kind of like South Park in that regard.
Well, that was what I got annoyed about, in those episodes, because it used to be when they had celebrity cameos, they were short little funny things.
Yeah.
Then, like around 2000s, they started to make episodes that revolved around it. There was an episode where Homer
Hey, Dave.
starts hanging out with Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger and Ron Howard. Like, it's a whole episode. It's no good. There's a whole episode where he starts hanging out with Mel Gibson. Like, I don't like that stuff. I like it when, like, a celebrity just shows up for, like, one scene and then is gone. Like Mickey Rooney in like my favorite episode, which is the Radioactive Man episode. Like Mickey Rooney just showing up at the end there. Jiminy Jillikers.
Oh, put the chopsticks down, Mickey. It's problematic now.
No idea. I pay the mouse
No.
so I can watch them if I need to.
Back then, yeah.
Death?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's a reference to.
Yeah. We keep moving from topic to topics. I'm not sure if you meant Halloween or cults or The Simpsons.
Yeah, maybe it is Halloween. That does make sense. God damn.
I mean, I would.
Rambo
do that.
Raph? Was it Rambo?
See, that's the kind of episode I might have done if, you know, in another time and space, because I still remember my top 5. My top 5 hasn't changed in like 15 years, and I doubt it would. My top 5 is, at the top, Radioactive Man. At number 2, Who Shot Mr. Burns, part 2. The only 2-part episode I think ever was part 2. Number 3 is You Only Move Twice, which is a bizarre episode because it really breaks the formula, because it's the one where they actually move to a little new community for a while, and Albert Brooks is this insane Bond villain type character. Anyway, then there's Bart of Darkness, which is a very simple episode. It's the Simpsons get a pool and Bart breaks his leg. That's all that goes on in there. And at 5, Homer at the Bat, a season 2 from the ancient days of season 2. And again, it breaks my rule a bit because it's filled with celebrities, where they make the softball team full of Major League Baseball stars.
That's a good episode.
So that's my top 5. And if you want to know, the best season is season 7. I mean, that run of basically 2 to 9 is perfection. It's golden. But
Yeah.
if I had to pick I say 7. 7's my favorite.
I think pretty much everybody would agree with you there. But I don't know. It's had good runs. Like, I don't know. I was really underwhelmed by the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if they
mean,
were planning on ending it there and just made the movie and kept going or what, you know.
The only thing I liked about the movie was hearing like Marge say "goddamn." Yeah, Hank Scorpio is like, I can't believe he's just a one-off character. And what's really weird, speaking of the movie, is Albert Brooks is back doing that voice as a completely different character. It just reminds me of Scorpio. I love Scorpio. He's like, yeah, when he's sugar. Like, there's just so much randomness. Like, he's like a supervillain trying to take over the East Coast while running this really friendly thing. But then there's just weird random stuff about him. Like, Homer asks him for some sugar. And he goes, yeah. And he just has all this loose sugar in his pockets. And he takes it and it's like, sorry, it's not in any packets. Like, I have no idea what that means, but it's hilarious and random. And I love it. Back to the hammocks, my friend. Sorry. If we get into that, I can just do a stage play. I can just I can just do the whole episode. Like, I have insane recall again for those episodes. I remember every line practically.
See, I was gonna say that's when I need to do a Simpsons.
Monorail, I think it's season 8, so that's great. That's a Conan
Monorail's
O'Brien one.
But the thing is, like a trivia we'd have to get it to stop somewhere, you know.
Yeah, because once you get up to about 2008 or so, I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I'd be pretty unbeatable in early Simpsons trivia, I think.
Oh, Conan.
But yeah, Conan did some of the best stuff.
Yeah, Hank Scorpio.
Hank Scorpio, like I said, he was just a one-off character. He was never brought back. I always thought he would be, but maybe they knew he was too perfect, and there was no reason to ever bring him back. Maybe they thought, just don't mess with perfection. But still, considering how they brought back a lot of other characters, I was surprised he never made another appearance at all.
Yeah, you got to take care of those loafers, Cliff.
Homer, good work, Homer. See, I know that. Good work, Homer. When you go home, there's going to be another story on your house. That was his response to him tackling the Rover. You expect me to talk? No, I expect you to die and for it to be a very cheap funeral. You're going to die now. Sorry, see, I'll get going if people give me an opening. Was it season 4? Man, I thought it was season 8 for some reason. I must have been thinking something about 8. Monorail was 4. What's weird is for that one, like before they got Leonard Nimoy, they reached out to George Takei first, and George Takei turned them down because he was on some sort of like, I don't know, community transportation board in his town, and he was like, I don't want to make fun of monorails. Like that was literally why George Takei didn't do the episode. He thought it would be bad for someone in his position to make fun of monorails. I was like, what? Is your town like connected by monorail? Is it, you're afraid of the monorail lobby? I don't know. It works better with
monorail.
Anyway. Dental plan, Lisa's needs raises. See that one, by the way, Last Exit to Springfield. For a long time, again, this is going back 15 years or so, that was like consistently rated the best episode. Like if you looked up back then, you know, best list. I remember MSN did a list. This is a million years ago when I used to read stuff on MSN, and they had that at number 1. Last Exit to Springfield, the one with the strike and the dental plan and all that. I do quote that one a lot because I love the part where they do the Grinch steals, how the Grinch stole Christmas bit, where Burns does the exact same, you know, movements to listen to the town, and then he does that whole bit about how they sing with that, and he's like, they sing without juicers, they sing without toasters, something like that. But then he just goes, they sing without Smendlers, Cap Dabblers, or they sing without something, Cap Dabblers and Smendlers. I can't remember what the first one is, but I just loved his nonsense words. I still say that stuff all the time. Cap Dabblers and Smendlers.
Yeah, they really dropped the ball on those DVD releases. Were you buying them? You know, they had the heads. They were the heads.
And they kept changing them.
And then they changed it. They changed one of them and they kept doing it, and everyone was pissed off because they're, you know, whatever, you know, looked stupid on their shelf. So, and then I think they just stopped making them altogether. So,
but yeah, I saw that, Cliff. That's what I'm referring to. At some point, I saw that, and that's how I knew about the George Takei thing, because they talk about it there. I can't remember how long ago that was. Ages. Great show. I mean, I will feel sad when it goes off the air just because, you know, the older you get, the less constants there are in your life. So The Simpsons have been constant in my life since I was like 7 years old or something.
Yeah.
It just was always there. So for it to go away. Episode where Burns wears fursuit. The one where they get the Santa's Little Helper has all the puppies.
That's a good one.
I assume that's what he means. I can't remember the name of that, but
he pulls 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah, and then he sings the song based on actually be our guest from Beauty and the Beast. See My Vest. Again, I can sing that song, but I'll spare you people. Because that's the other thing. I can remember, like, in the late 90s, there was even I remember being over my friend's house once, and he had like a soundtrack CD that they sold that was just full of songs from The Simpsons, and that was on there. I was just thinking, how many more songs must there be now? Because it had the monorail song, remember, which, you know, take my penknife, my good man. It had the monorail song. It had the See My Vest song. It had the song about the burlesque house. Remember that song about how they had to protect the burlesque house?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Oh, did they have any when they were the quartet?
Oh, the B sharp stuff. I can't remember, but that would have been the right era.
Yeah.
The B sharps, yeah. See, that's another good example of the floating timeline of The Simpsons. Back then, it was easy to say, oh yeah, you know, when when Bart was like 5 and you were 3, it was the 80s, and I was in this group. You have to keep doing the floating timeline. I always bring this up
Right.
as the ultimate example of the floating timeline. And again, this episode is super old because this is like early 2000s. But one of my favorite episodes, again, from the golden era, was the Lollapalooza episode where Homer winds up on tour with the Smashing Pumpkins, right? And the whole point of that is to show the generational disconnect. The whole thing is Homer can't relate to the music of the day. His kids are into the music of the 90s. They like the grunge and the post-grunge and stuff. And Homer like comments about like, you know, what that was like then. When he meets Billy Corgan, he's like, my kids think you're the best. And thanks to your gloomy music, they stop dreaming of a future I can't possibly provide. He talks about gloomy music, and they say, it shows all the teenagers like bobbing their heads like that. And Bart's like, making teenagers depressed. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. But anyway, the whole point of that episode was Homer was a dad in middle age in the 90s who couldn't relate to his kids' love of that. And they yell at him for liking like Grand Funk Railroad and stuff like that. Homer's line being, everyone knows that rock achieved perfection in 1974. However, fast forward years later, they did an entire episode about it was a flashback episode about their early years of their marriage, and that Marge briefly attended college, and that Homer inadvertently started a garage band. And then you find out he actually became one of the pioneers of the grunge movement. So on the floating timeline, originally he was somebody who was a middle-aged guy in the 90s who couldn't relate to grunge. Flip it over about a little more than a decade, and now he's one of the guys that pioneered grunge. He had a band called Sadgasm, and he did a song that was basically
Sadgasm.
And yeah, with Lenny and Carl. And he was like it was a Kurt Cobain type thing.
Sure.
But the song he actually did, they show a music video or song he did, and the song was basically a parody of Glycerine by Bush. You can probably find it.
Hey, let me see if I can name all the bands that were at Lollapalooza at that time. Okay, we got Smashing Pumpkins, Wayne, Peter Frampton, was Cypress Hill.
Cypress Hill's there.
Is that the only one I've gotten right so far?
I don't remember Ween, but Peter Frampton was there. That was another joke too. Don't trust anyone over 30. And now Peter Frampton.
Oh shit! And it had to have been a popular female of the time, like Sinead O'Connor or some shit. I don't know.
I don't know. They didn't name too many. The ones I knew for sure was Smashing Pumpkins, Cypress Hill, and Peter Frampton. I don't know if they actually named any of the other bands or any of the other bands showed up. There's a great thing there too, where it's just like the London Philip. It's like, what is it? The London Orchestra shows up. It's like, we're supposed to play. It's like, somebody ordered the London Orchestra, possibly while high. Cypress Hill, I'm looking your direction. Like, I guess we did. Then they do Insane in the Brain with things.
Yeah, Cliff, this was my very first CD I ever bought. It was also Jess Graham's.
What's that one?
The Simpsons Sing the Blues.
That's all. Speaking of Bush, the West Coast Arena, that was my first CD bought, was 16 Stone by Bush.
That's a
fucking
great CD.
That was my first ever bought CD. Or album, because even though I was young, I'm old enough to have bought cassettes. I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, CDs are the way of the future. I had a Discman by 1996. I was humming along.
Mm-hmm. Wave of the future.
Skipped like a motherfucker.
Oh man, before they had that fucking shock absorbing shit, whatever they called it.
I never got
You couldn't
one.
do anything with it. It had to sit right there. Like you couldn't even drive in your car. Like
no.
You hit a bump, track would skip. Fucking bullshit.
Was Doggy Style 94, Ben?
93, 94? Yeah, gotta be. Probably.
Because I'm just thinking, 16 Stone was 94. I didn't buy it in 94. I think I bought it in 95, but the album was 94. 94 was.
And then he shot some people.
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah. Remember he got acquitted? That was a big deal in the news.
No, I couldn't keep track of those rappers shooting each other. Although I guess recently they finally arrested Tupac's murderer.
I got him. Real good detective work, guys. What you do? Download TikTok? Pieces of shit.
I remember Homer's Spirit Guide episode 2 with the coyote. In your face, space coyote. I can't be still. Plus, The Simpsons was good for actually using real music too, because I guess it got so big they could afford it, right? Speaking of like being able to afford music, like, so was it? Okay, you have to follow me here on this. It's been a running joke in various things. I've seen it done on American Dad. I've seen it done on Family Guy. That in particular, Beatles songs cost a fucking fortune to like use, so they just avoid them or skip them where they can. But I don't think that was always the case. And we also have to remember that sometime in the early 80s, Michael Jackson fucking bought their catalog. Did he do that? Did he make it cost more? Because I was watching old episodes of The Muppet Show not too long ago, and there's a whole part where they do Good Day Sunshine, which is a not too well-known Beatles song. I'm thinking, I can't imagine The Muppet Show had to shell out a ton of dough to do that. This is the mid-70s, right? So I'm thinking, is Michael Jackson the one? Did he ruin it for everyone? Did he make Beatles songs unaffordable? Because that's one thing I don't know. Like, when you think about bands and music and pop and stuff, and like getting used on, TV shows and movies and stuff like that, sometimes you'll hear like, we wanted to use this song, but it cost too much, so we use this song instead, and things like that. It's like, you only heard that about certain bands. I know it was Courtney Love's fucking fault why you didn't hear Nirvana in most music. I mean, think about Nirvana, one of the biggest bands of all time, popular. How many soundtracks can you remember Nirvana being fucking on? Like none. Like when they put Something in the Way in the Batman movie the other year, like that like blew everyone's mind. It's like, holy shit, a Nirvana song in a Batman movie. I can only think of one other instance of a Nirvana song being used in a movie, and it's pretty obscure. But remember the movie Shoot 'Em Up with Clive Owen?
Yeah.
That has, I think, what the fuck is the song called? I think Breed. I think Breed is in that. There's a scene an action scene where Breed plays, and that's it. Those are the only two movies. One being extremely recent, where I can think of a Nirvana song like popping up in the soundtrack.
I didn't even notice it was in there.
Yeah. And speaking of Smashing Pumpkins, like, how come their stuff isn't on there? I remember watching Clerks 2, and there's like the all is lost moment in Clerks 2 where everyone hates each other and nobody's happy. And so there's like a little thing, a montage of Dante getting his car and driving. And 1979 plays. And this is 2006, and all I'm thinking is, how come I've never heard this song in a movie ever before in my entire life until now? Like, it's 1979. Again, it's a fucking iconic song.
It would be a great fucking song for a movie, too.
It fits so many kinds of scenes, right? That's what I mean. When you see, like, it's a sad moment in it, Dante's driving his car, or he's thinking about life, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, this had to have been done before. It feels like it must have been done before, but I couldn't think of it ever actually being so. I was like, did Kevin Smith have to, like, empty the bank to get this song in the movie or something? Like, because, yeah, that's one thing I really don't know. I don't know how it works.
Couldn't have.
How much stuff.
It's Cammy.
There's Camille. You and Pawpaws? Yeah. Are you bored? She's all right. I wish she'd talk for us. She has a really crazy, cool voice.
She won't ever do it when we're recording.
Give her some meow mix, dude.
There was some catnip.
You and Pawpaws. I should give her catnip.
Let's get turned.
She hasn't had any since she got back. And you didn't have any when we were in Sydney. Yeah, it's been a long time. You could use some catnip. Good girl. We're going to have a good Halloween? Yeah? What? Yeah.
They're coming to massage the fuck out of this pillow. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Pawpaw.
Time to do biscuits.
Biscuits.
Time to break biscuits.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any videos in here I can pull up? Oh, man. There's some of these are maybe rough. I don't know. Let's give it a go.
The next one, miss some.
It'll be fine.
We've got word
really fast.
He's recuperating quickly in the hospital.
It looks like his skeleton must have been shattered.
Fuck, that was a rough start.
It'll be fun.
No, he's totally okay.
I got no sympathy for anyone on a motorcycle. You're asking for it. You want to drive in a death machine?
Look at this.
Get your leg cut off.
Oh shit! Oh,
Lose his toes? Were his
he's-
toes gone?
They got it. Put back on. No
He's
problem.
gonna be okay.
No,
I knew he had gash in his leg, but were his toes gone too?
he's
That's okay. I don't need to see
yeah.
it again.
Oh, you don't want to see it again? Oh, sorry.
Not particularly.
Man, that's some stupid ass.
Well, that definitely
shit.
makes him look cool. That's going to boost your profile. A bunch of idiots singing that. I mean, when you're...
I would love to.
Sorry, keep going.
Fuck.
Sorry, what were you saying, Cole?
No, I'm just saying, I mean, you're an old white politician. You're never going to be cool, but that's not going to help boost your profile any. Fucking see if I can fix this stupid camera.
Nope.
I need to get that one of Hillary. It was that homosexual fella. He was like Hillary in the house, Hillary in the White House. You guys remember that?
No.
Hillary being in the
Oh.
White House? No.
Bringing it up. I shouldn't have given you so much information.
It seems fine here.
Hey, Cole, you know what you need?
What do I need?
A Microsoft camera.
Logitech cameras are good, don't you think?
They're very good, yes. But I'm just naming things you hate. Starbucks. And the Starbucks.
I'm indifferent.
I hate
to
Starbucks too. Fuck
I don't really hate Starbucks. I ignore its existence. I get that they're out there. I just don't go in them, and I don't go in them because of whatever the fuck they do. They don't have anything I want.
Cole, if I sent you an Xbox, would you use it?
I wouldn't.
What if I gave you like a brand new Tesla, but it's just Xbox, Xbox and Monster Energy drink all over?
Oh no! I'd have to drive off the cliff. Tesla. Oh my fucking god.
All right, let's check this gentleman out.
Here we go.
We want to send a message to Texas and then all over the United States. We did a cleaning in that White House, and we need a woman to clean it up, and that woman is Hillary Rodham Clinton. Ready? We need a woman in the White House, and that person's Hillary Clinton. She's the one. We need a woman in the House, the White House.
Oh,
Come
yeah.
join us, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. We need a woman in the House, the White House. Our fight has just begun. That's right. Hillary in the House. Hillary in the White House. Hillary.
You had that tanked right there. Everybody said it was shit about emails, but it was obviously this, right?
Yeah.
This was what tanked it.
Benghazi, what?
We no bling. We got the real thing, and that's Hillary Clinton. She's the one. Let's get loud.
Hillary, what?
Let's get real.
What's in the wood? What?
Tell me how you really feel now. Let's get loud. Let's get real. Hillary in the White House.
Okay, it's more of the same. It's so
Americans'
fucking
obsession with politics is, I mean, every country has politics, but man, Americans get into it.
We fucking love that shit.
They do it like they're tailgating or something.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's
What are you guys doing? We're just fucking Trump, bro.
I mean, I get wanting like your candidate to win, but I can't imagine
else?
being that into it, right? Be like, yeah, I voted for this person. I would like them to win, but I can't imagine being that invested. Like,
Cole, would you vote for Trump if he ran for Prime Minister of Canada?
no,
Why not?
Well, he's a really bad president. Why would he be a good prime minister?
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that nonsense.
Plus, he's been very rude about Canada quite a few times. I mean, he's rude about
Pretty
everything.
rude to everybody. I think.
It's not like I can take it too seriously as a Canadian because he's like, fuck all you other countries. It's pretty much his thing. It's like, well, the Saudis are cool. I like Saudis. He likes that. He likes that. He likes Saudis.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool.
Yeah, pretty much. RoboCop.
It does feel like a RoboCop. I'd buy that for $1 type thing.
Paul Verhoeven, right? I mean, he's
I'd
the one
buy
who kinda
that
saved
for
RoboCop
$1.
by turning it into the satire that it is. Like, that's what makes RoboCop work. Is that Paul Verhoeven's like, oh, I could kind of spin this and make it kind of funny.
Mm-hmm. So he's still alive?
I can't. He did a movie in 2021, which is crazy because he's
I think he is.
85 years old.
Born in 38.
Damn 30s. Had an interesting career. Because, I mean, then he did the same thing with Starship Troopers. Like, if you read Starship Troopers, and I have, there's nothing tongue-in-cheek about that book.
Mm-hmm.
Heinlein's like, yes, we should have a society where the military controls absolutely everything. You can't even vote if you're not in the military. Blah, 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 force. And Verhoeven read the book, it was just like, this is a joke, right? I think that's how we better do the movie, like a joke. But that's not what the book. The book is fucking serious. But the book is like one thing over the movie that, I mean, it must have been budget constraints, because you know how, like, in various sci-fi, you've seen things about, like, crazy, like, powered armor, like that kind of thing. Like, that book is, like, the originator of that. But I guess they didn't have the budget to put it in the movie, because there isn't any.
Like a shield or something?
Like, more so, like big, like, sort of, like, big, crazy suits that have, like, guns and can fly, you know, kind of like a pre-Iron Man type thing, you know, kind of like a mech suit thing. Like, that book, which is from the 50s, early 50s, is, like, I think one of the earliest examples of that in science fiction. And it would have been cool in the movie, but maybe they didn't have the budget. I don't know, because it's not in the movie. But that's another good example of Paul Verhoeven being smart and being like satire. It's funny too that because Paul Verhoeven directed Showgirls, which doesn't mean anything except that last night I watched Striptease for the first time in quite a few years. It does not hold up.
I wouldn't imagine it does.
But,
it wasn't great to begin with. So.
I mean, the breasts hold up.
Yeah.
It's interesting too. I feel bad for her because that did affect her career in a negative way. But was it because the movie flopped or because people were just upset that she did a role like that? Like, I don't really know. Demi Moore.
Did she do G.I. Jane right after that? I thought that's kind of what fucked her career up more than Showgirl or Striptease.
It was a couple years after. She must have done something in between, although I don't know.
That was like her bounce back. Like, I'm bad. I'm a bad bitch. And, you know, fucking shit.
Never seen it. I never saw it. I actually haven't seen a lot of Demi Moore stuff, to be honest. Not like
G.I. Jane is great. She says, suck my dick.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
What's funny, like, is I didn't realize then, and it wouldn't have meant anything to me, but, like, in watching Striptease, like, her daughter is actually her daughter, and that's Rumor Willis as the daughter. Mm-hmm. It is pretty funny watching, like, her daughter sitting around, like, playing games with, like, big tit strippers. It's pretty funny.
I have to go back and watch that again. I didn't realize that was Rumor. She had that big ass, like, Bruce Willis jaw in that movie.
No, she's still actually kind of cute as a little girl. You don't, you know, it could go either way with her at that point. Like, she's not like, I mean, let's speculate about Amaya, but sure, why not? But yeah, I wouldn't say she was a pretty little girl, but she was still that age where you'd be like, she's cute. But it's like, yeah. Sure. She did not get her mother's genes.
Well, I'm just saying, you don't want, you know, Bruce Willis with a wig. That's kind of what, I mean, she's got Demi's eyes, but other than that, you know.
But I mean, Demi was in her mid-30s when she did that movie, and like her breasts are just spectacular.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It's good that there's a record of them. So, I mean, that's the one good thing about the movie, I suppose.
Hey, good for Charles Band, man.
Because she does like 3 stripping scenes. Although one of them gets interrupted before she takes her top off.
Fuck yeah.
How was that book, Ben? So I need to read that as well. I got
Which
some more
book?
shit I need to read. Charles Band's autobiography.
Oh yeah. Demi Moore is 60 now. But what I didn't know, because I hadn't, again, she's not somebody I thought of, was like, when all this shit was going on about Danny Masterson, and then people were like flipping out on the other That 70s Show people for like trying to support him and stuff, and people were saying like what an asshole Ashton Kutcher was. Apparently, like one of the things was like, Ashton Kutcher was with Demi Moore was like he like destroyed her sobriety. Was like she'd been an alcoholic for a long time, and then she was sober. And then when she was like dating him, he was like really young. He's like 25 years old. He's like, yeah, I don't really think alcoholism's a big deal or anything like that. And like it basically like slowly got her back into booze until she was an alcoholic again.
So they're blaming him for that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, they're blaming him for a lot of stuff. Like, I don't care. Ashton Kutcher means nothing to me. But I mean,
that's bullshit.
Me, the criminal is Danny Masterson. He's the criminal. But people are just
that's
like
some addict trying to fucking make sense out of what's going on.
Because I mean, Twitter blowing up. People are like, "Fuck Ashton Kutcher, fuck Mila Kunis, fuck Kurtwood Smith, who's in RoboCop." They're like, "Fuck all those guys." I was like, I don't know. They're not the rapist.
Yeah, I mean, and who knows what's else to that story we don't know about. What else could have happened that contributed to that or whatever. Because I mean, honestly, a fucking alcoholic is gonna find any reason to drink, find any reason to justify it. So,
I mean, I guess the thing was she had been sober for a few years or something like that. I don't know. Like I say, it's not the main thing. It's just one more thing to like throw out. Like, people are kind of come up with reasons for why Ashton Kutcher sucks. So like, here's another one. Yeah. Again, I don't have any reason to defend Ashton Kutcher. I don't
like the guy. I don't think he sucks by any means. I think he's a fucking brilliant businessman. I mean, he made his money and then he really made his money, And
people make too much out of stuff sometimes, I think. Like, I get it. Danny Masterson's crimes are very serious. But the fact that on the set of That 70s Show, like, he dared him to kiss Mila Kunis and she was only 14 and they joked about, like, I don't care. What the fuck does that mean? Nothing.
Well, how old was he? 18? He was 18 and she was 14?
Yeah, something like that. Because she was 14 before the show even started. Like, she was 15, by the time the show aired, but she was 14 when she first got there or something like that. And Danny, like, dared him to kiss her or something like that. She's like, that was my first kiss. And she seemed to be fine with that. But, again, we're supposed to yell at people and tell them how they're supposed to feel about stuff.
But that's still her husband and the father of her children now. So,
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure she's okay with it. Why wouldn't she be?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I don't like. Like, people telling... I mean, you can dislike Mila Kunis for whatever reason you have, but I mean, I wouldn't... I don't know. On one hand, you want to yell at her for all this stuff, and then the other hand, you want to say that she's some kind of victim? Like, I don't think so.
I don't know. I lose track of who's bad for whatever reason.
No, the whole thing was like when this Danny Masterson came up, and they were like, "I must have some very serious evidence, right, to like fully like convict him and stuff." It's like some of those That 70s Show people, including Kurtwood Smith, Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis, have like written letters to the judge talking about his character. And as many people rightly pointed out, yeah, just because he's been a good friend to you or because he has like kids, it doesn't mean he's a good person or it excuses fucking crimes like rape. I mean, I get it like that, but at the same time, like that stuff wasn't really supposed to be public. So I don't know who leaked it. So, but now everyone's like, you like want to enable a rapist or something like that. They weren't saying set him free, but
yeah. I mean, that's what people always do when somebody's up for some huge sentence like that. They write letters to the judge, for leniency.
Yeah. I mean, it shouldn't have become public.
But I mean, what's to say you can't be a good friend and a fucking scumbag at the same time,
Yeah.
I didn't treat you like shit, but I, did whatever to her.
Yeah. I don't know. There seems to be this whole school that there's like some sort of like clique among that group of that 70 Show people, and like, oh, they knew stuff and they were scum and they joked about it. Like, I don't know, because you're just piecing together out of context text from like 20 some years ago when they were all really young that have nothing to do with anything.
Was Ashton in that? Was he in Scientology as well?
I don't know.
Because I mean, that's kind of what, explains a lot for me, because those people are really like secretive about stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also one of the reasons why he got away with it for a long time, because he had those people backing him and stuff. Because they, so as a Scientologist, whenever they have any kind of celebrity, those are really important to them to have a celebrity. So they'll go out of their way to protect them. And
obviously, God, look at their, superstars now.
I'm not implying Tom Cruise did anything wrong, but let's say Tom Cruise murdered somebody, we would never know. Because he's like their god, and they would pull every string, threaten everybody. If Tom Cruise, this didn't happen, obviously. Let's say Katie Holmes disappeared. Katie Holmes just disappeared, and what happened was at some time at their house, Tom Cruise fucking killed her. He would just call up that Scientology guy, whatever his name is, and he would send a team over. They'd all be in CSI suits, and they'd be scrubbing the thing, and there'd be people, and then they'd go create some crazy alibi for him, he was at a party with 50 people, and we can all, I can just imagine, I'm not saying Tom Cruise or anything. I'm just saying if he had committed a major crime, I bet you they could have covered it up easily, because they'd have put the full weight of their organization behind it. They'd be like,
"Hey, L. Ron, we got a situation over here."
Yeah, he's still alive. He faked his death.
Yeah, faked his death.
He's still
he
living
died in
on
the
a boat
80s or
with,
something,
with
right?
boys. Yeah, living on his boat with boys. That's not at all suspect at all. That's not weird or strange for a science fiction author that accidentally started a religion. I really like those infomercials too for in the 90s, where you could buy box sets of his book. Because it's weird because it ties Scientology into it. It's weird because on one hand, it's okay, it's an infomercial talking about a successful sci-fi author and the books you can buy that he wrote. That makes sense. But then the other half of it is, that, what's the word of that book, the Scientology book, something nomics? Dianetics. But then they start talking about that too. So I'm just it's got to be one or the other people here. I'm not saying you can't found a religion and also be a writer, but the way you're mixing these things makes it all sound ridiculous, but that's what people like.
Yeah, he said Big Crack Rock says he was a Scientologist. I thought he was. I thought both of them were together, like him and Masterson. I never got Fez, though, right?
Wonder what happened.
Fez was good.
Well, no. Fez is considered a creep too, because he has a history of dating young women. Now, mostly legal, but still young enough for people to flip on him.
Nobody gives fucking Leo any problems for that. He's fucking twice their age. Over that now.
Because I'm trying to remember. He dated Lindsay Lohan when she was young. There's somebody else too.
Yeah.
He did maybe Hillary Duff or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a well-known fact that Hillary Duff dated the lead singer of Good Charlotte when she was 16 and he was 25, and she's pretty much confirmed they were sexually active. And again, I don't actually care, but a lot of people obviously do, because you know what? Hillary Duff seems fine and doesn't care, but that's not the way society is supposed to work. So, and yeah, you don't really hear much about that Good Charlotte guy, so I don't know. People seem to pick and choose their outrage for things like this. Depends on how famous you are in the moment, stuff like that. But no, Wilmer Ravel Delauder, or whatever his name is, they all consider him scum too.
Huh. He wasn't that much older than Lindsay Lohan, though. I mean, he was 25 and she was 18 or some shit, right? I mean, that's pretty.
I don't know, but I don't know. There were several, and they were all they were all young. But again, I don't care. And again, I don't care about him or his career or anything. I liked this show. I did. The one thing that's come out of this is a lot of people are now saying Topher Grace is amazing, because the whole thing was back in the day, he didn't really seem to associate with them very much, and he took a lot of shit for it. Because people used to say, because he got off the show quickly. Like, oh, he thinks he's too good for the show. And it's like, whenever they had events and hanging out, he was really never really there. He didn't hang out with them. Like, he wasn't really friends with them the way they were all friends outside the show. And now they're all saying, well, maybe Topher Grace knew some shit. And I'm like, I don't know. Just leave him out of it,
Oh, yeah, going to blame the guy even though he wasn't even fucking around him, right? That's so stupid.
Well, no, now everyone's saying, like, Topher Grace, like, he's the good guy and all this is what they're saying.
Oh.
They're saying, like,
guilty
oh,
by
maybe
association.
they're saying maybe Topher knew that they were all a bunch of, like, weird, twisted assholes, and he knew to stay away from them. So they're saying,
Maybe he did.
Maybe he did. I don't know. But I'm just saying, I don't know. That's Topher Grace's business. I just mean this is what the wild speculation we live in now, right? Maybe Topher Grace didn't like them. Maybe he did like them. Maybe he hung out with them more than we thought. Maybe he just didn't want to hang out with them. Maybe he had nothing to do with anything serious, but people, they're just quick. So there's a lot of people going, yeah, hooray for Topher Grace. I'm like, I don't know if he actually did anything, but okay.
I don't know why everybody's reading so much into it now. I mean, you don't know it. You're from the outside looking in. You don't know what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So then you take like little bits and things and out of context quotes and stuff, and they're putting, they're all a bunch of pervs. Like, I don't really think so.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are making it sound like, yeah, I'm like, what did they do? Were they kidnapping girls and holding them down for Danny Masterson? Is that what you're telling me? Well, no. Oh, but they knew? Well, no. Well, then what? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean,
I didn't hear much
why
about
are
the
we
trial.
assuming
Was Danny Masterson on the stand saying they were all doing, like, he wasn't out there naming names? I mean, as far as I know, Danny Masterson defended himself the way a person accused of those crimes defends himself. He wasn't flipping out, naming a whole bunch of people saying they were in on it,
Hey, what about his brother? I know his brother. They were real tight.
Or Chris, yeah. I mean, he's still his brother no matter what, right?
But has he been accused of anything?
No. Because I was thinking the exact same thing. I was thinking of an old episode from the early 2000s of Mad TV. They were both on it, and they were really good together. They were funny.
When he doesn't have the stupid glasses and the sideburns, they look a lot more alike. That takes away from it.
Because I liked Chris from Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah. I didn't know forever that they were brothers. It was crazy. Oh, and he's in Scary Movie 2.
Is he?
Or the first one, maybe?
I can't remember. I watched, that's something I did do last October. I watched, 4 of them.
He's joking around with Sydney the whole time, like they're, kind of flirting, but then he takes it too far every time. Like he actually starts wrestling with her, like gets her in a headlock and shit.
I thought that was Neil Patrick Harris. I think that's Neil Patrick Harris.
Those guys look really similar. I think
they do look very similar. I think it's Neil Patrick Harris who is in the second. Because the whole thing is like he has a crush on her, and she's like, I don't know, and then he's like, we'll just be bros, and and he starts kind of like.
Let's see. I get those guys mixed up a lot.
I'm pretty sure I'm right because I saw the movie last year. I watched the first 4 last year, all in a row, around this time actually, in the lead up to Halloween. I want to say Neil Patrick Harris is in Scary Movie 2. But yeah, they do look and sound similar.
I don't see his fucking name. This stuff's listed in alphabetical order, so. Christopher Matheson. His buddy.
Masterson.
Or Masterson? Yeah, Masterson, yeah. The Jizz one, yeah, that's what I remember him from.
Yeah, maybe it is him. I thought it was Neil Patrick Harris. I think you must be right because I'm looking at Neil Patrick Harris and I don't see it, so I guess I was wrong.
No, those guys are so interesting.
Neil Patrick Harris is the Starship Troopers, since everything goes back to Verhoeven.
Yeah. To Werner, or to Verhoeven.
Neil Patrick Harris's best work was Dick Grayson in Batman Under the Red Hood. And nobody saw it except me.
I'm guessing the Christopher's the younger one.
I think so.
These fuckers are about my age too. Let's go see.
Yeah, Masterson's your age, I think.
Yeah, he's older than me. He was born in January.
Yeah, that's him. You're right. I think I didn't know that. I think always thought that was Neil Patrick Harris. You're right. Good. He's Buddy Sanderson, Scary Movie.
Yeah, see, Neil Patrick Harris was in the White Castle movies, so
Yeah.
fucking Harold and Kumar.
But he's not in very much. I've seen. He actually did do an episode of that 70s show, but I don't remember it. He did 3 episodes of that 70s show, but I don't remember.
I knew he was in it. I don't remember.
It was later season, obviously.
I need to go back through Malcolm in the Middle and watch that again.
I remember him in American History X, even though it's a small role.
Sure, I don't remember him. Is he one of his friends? One of the kid's friends?
Yeah, I think so.
Whatever his name is, like in Terminator 2. Furlong.
Yeah, I think he's one of Furlong's friends. Yeah.
He was in Campfire Tales in 1997.
But
He was
he's
in Cutthroat Island.
He's also in Scientology, just like Danny.
He was in Cutthroat Island.
He actually, he dated Laura Prepon or whatever her name is back in the day. So these are all connected.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, even if they weren't brothers or whatever, they would meet through Fox parties.
But he only got married a few years ago for an older guy. Like, he's 43 now, but he only got married in 2019. I'm speaking of Chris Masterson.
Oh, Danny's his half brother. Okay, that's good. I would emphasize the half if I was him.
Oh, I thought he was only half brother of Jordan.
It says the only sibling it says he has. Oh shit! I'm sorry. You're right. It says half sibling is Aliana Jordan.
Yeah, he's got Alana and Jordan. They're half.
So Danny is a full. Damn it! Trying to find him an out.
But speaking of connections, like, I couldn't believe that Harry Chapin shit. You knew that about Wes Craven?
What about Wes Craven?
So Wes Craven, when he was really young and in the late 60s, trying to start out his career as making movies, he was teaching some sort of courses at a college or something in like California or something. And he had this student that knew that he wanted to get into movie making. And the student said, I've got a brother back in New York, and he's been making a documentary, and he knows all sorts of stuff about that stuff, and he'll show you how to like do editing. He's like, it's not a job, like, you're not going to make any money, but if you go out there, he's a really nice guy, my brother, and he'll help you out. So he went out to New York, and this guy was in the process of making a documentary, taught him kind of all this film technique and editing, and that was Harry Chapin. And if you don't remember who Harry Chapin is, he was a very popular singer-songwriter in the U.S. He died young. He died, I think, in a car crash in the 80s. But remember The Cat's in the Cradle? Everybody knows that fucking song. That's him.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the only song of his most people know, because most of his songs were super long and couldn't go on the radio. But anyway, so that's a weird connection. But it goes beyond that, because they must have stayed in touch or something. Because sometime, it must have been after Harry died, that same brother that had known Wes before, he married Wes Craven's ex-wife. And they had a daughter who, even though it was his daughter, used the Craven name. So Harry, being a musical guy, he had 2 daughters of his own who eventually formed like a folk group. And that other half-sister, or whatever you would call her, who uses the name Craven, is sometimes in that group. So that just blows my mind that like horror, exactly, like horror film maker extraordinaire had like this link to like,
but
this like folk songwriter guy.
So she took her mom's ex-husband's name over her father's name?
Yeah, I need to look this up exactly to see how this goes. But yeah,
That's
she
bizarre.
uses Craven.
Huh.
Chapin sisters.
Craven's
There has-
probably not
Jessica.
even
Her
his
name
real
is her name is Jessica Craven. Yeah, Jessica Craven. So her dad was Harry Chapin's brother, and her mom. Yeah, so that's weird, isn't it? That she took her mom's ex-husband's name. Maybe because she just didn't want to be associated with I don't know. Anyway, it's weird. But anyway, that just blew my mind. I only found that out like a couple weeks ago. I was like, that's the weirdest connection I've ever heard of. I was like, the guy that wrote 30,000 Pounds of Bananas taught Wes Craven how to edit? Like, I was like, I don't know. This is nuts to me.
So she must have known Wes somehow because she was
Wes
in New
was-
Nightmare and Scream 2.
Oh yeah, I mean Wes was alive. It was just her mom's ex, so obviously she knew him. So
But why? But that's so fucking weird, right?
Why use the name? I have no idea why.
Why
she used the name.
anything? Why even talk to the dude? What? That's extremely bizarre, man.
All I
Do
can
they
think
share a
is,
sibling or anything? Or I mean, do they share a
well, they have, like I said,
another?
technically those are their half sister.
They have the same father, though, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to put this to you. Yeah, they're I'm getting confused too, because like Harry had 2 daughters, but it's not Harry who married her. He was dead. It was his brother that married her. So shouldn't that be a cousin?
So he
how
married
do they
his
have
former sister-in-law. Is that right?
Harry Chapin's brother married Wes Craven's ex-wife.
Wes Craven's ex-wife. Okay.
But like I said, it is awfully strange that the daughter uses the Craven name. Because her father was a Chapin. And her mother, why wouldn't she just go back to her maiden name anyway? If she did want to take Chapin, why would she keep Craven? That's the weird part.
Oh, if she kept Craven, that at least makes a little bit of sense.
Well, I mean, I guess she must have. But
Yeah.
that seems odd to me too. Like, she divorced him. Why would she keep his name, especially if she's getting remarried? But because I think, I don't know, if you're not going to take your new husband's name, like you obviously took your ex-husband's name for whatever reason, you could just revert to your maiden name. But this is still confusing to me. Why Jessica is considered their half sister? How is she their half sister?
It must have a different mothers, right?
Because their uncle. Because again, I'm talking about the Chapin sisters.
The Chapin sisters, but they were born before, right? Before he married the former Mrs. Craven or Miss Craven.
Oh,
Before-
okay. These are okay. This is where I got confused. I thought they were Chapin's daughter, Harry Chapin's daughters. They're not. They're the brother's daughters. So that's why Jessica is their half sister. Because I was like, I literally thought they were Harry's daughters. They're not Harry daughters. They're the
Oh,
brother.
Jesus, this is confusing as hell. Yeah.
Okay. So this is how it goes. Tom Chapin is the other one. So Harry Chapin is the singer-songwriter. Tom is the dude. Harry died and had kids, but the band I'm talking about are Tom's daughters. And then Tom had another daughter with Wes Craven's ex-wife, who for some reason kept the name, and that's Jessica. So she's Jessica Craven. So I was thinking that the other two weren't Tom's daughters. I was thinking they were Harry's. They're not.
Right.
It's still weird though. Like I said, it's just a bizarre connection to connect Harry Chapin to Wes Craven. It just seems so funny to me. And the fact that they're connected that way. Like I never knew Harry Chapin had anything to do with film. Like I just knew he was a musician. He was a singer-songwriter. Had no idea he ever made a documentary or ever did film or did film editing, let alone taught Wes Craven stuff. So that's really funny to me. Who are these people?
This is the sisters.
Does this include Jessica?
I don't know.
Okay. Because
I don't know,
Jessica's not like
sometimes.
a full-time member.
Yeah.
It seems it's usually a duo, and sometimes Jessica's there. They
Well,
also
there
have
is
a
a
cousin
one.
named Jen.
Yeah.
We don't like to do so many covers, but it's really how we got our start. And
How you got your start was your name is Chapin. That's how you got your fucking start.
Yeah, it probably helps a little, huh? Getting your foot in the door in there.
Back in the early part of 2000s, maybe even earlier.
And people can do whatever they want with their money, but I also think Harry Chapin was too generous because when Harry Chapin died, he had a ton of money, but he didn't have it because he supported like 40 people in his family. Like that's not right? Imagine you had like an uncle or a cousin that was like a famous musician, and you expected them to pay your fucking bills.
It got its big break when an unknown singer-songwriter named Britney Spears.
I mean, if I had like a famous relative who was like a millionaire, yeah, I might expect maybe they give me a really nice Christmas present when that rolls around, but I don't expect them to financially support me. But apparently he supported like a bunch of people in his extended family.
I can see how that would be expensive.
Anyway, he was a great guy and just one of those really pure, nice people. Really kind man, a real storyteller.
Can't you see I'm calling? Guy like you, sure where I want it.
I don't know what this is. They say it's a cover, but I don't know what it's a cover of. It's definitely too gloomy to be Harry's.
There's no escape. I can't hide. I need a hit.
Give it just a little bit longer.
It's dangerous. I love it. Too high and go down. It's in the air. It's all around. Can you feel me now?
I remember that song. I remember Toxic.
With a taste
It had a really... Oh, that's what they're doing.
Okay, I recognize it now.
Yeah. I was getting really confused.
What's the other one doing?
I mean, it's an improvement over the original, because the original has that really obnoxious string part that I hate so much. Remember that?
Yeah.
Where it goes, "Woo." I can't do it. Yeah, there was no way I was going to recognize the song until they got to the chorus. It's not a song I know that well, especially not without it.
I hurt myself.
That's all I could think of. I was thinking of Hurt, 9 Inch Nails, by way of Johnny Cash.
All right, this is not that great, huh?
No. Like I said, they only have the career because of their name.
That's
and plus, I don't think Jessica was there. So, but yeah, Jessica Craven. Let's see if I can find anything out about what Jessica Craven does.
She was married to someone. I wasn't familiar with the name, but
wait a minute. Okay, I got the timing all wrong. She's born in 1968?
Oh, wow. I was going to say she must be pretty old because she looked like she's in her late 20s or 30s in fucking New Nightmare.
I'm getting so confused here.
She was in Shocker.
Oh, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I was getting confused about the timing. Because Jessica Craven actually is Wes Craven's daughter. So who's the one that's not? God, I'm getting confused. Jessica Craven has the Craven name because she is his daughter. So I'm getting really fucked up and turned around on all this.
Oh, that actually is his daughter. Okay.
Yeah. So what the fuck? So Jessica Craven. Okay, now I get it. That she came first. That's why. So that's why she has the Craven name. He and his wife had her. So her name is obviously Craven. Then his wife divorced him, married Chapin's brother, and had them. That's why they're half sisters. But I was so confused. I was like, I thought she came second. I was like, why the fuck would she be called Craven? She's called Craven because she actually is Craven's daughter. I thought she was the next husband's daughter. But I got it backwards. She came first. So there you go.
All right, that makes sense.
So there, that puts that together. It's still a really crazy connection, which is all I wanted to say. The fact that they have any connection at all seems crazy to me. That Harry Chapin taught him how to edit and was into film and stuff. But
yeah, she was
so
married
I went many
to
years
Michael.
without knowing that.
She was married to Michael Massini, apparently just a like producer. Produced a lot of Wes's stuff.
Toxic Britney Spears. She has worse songs.
Anyway, that sounds like a good time to wrap things up. So, yeah, thanks for sticking with us tonight, guys.
I guess we can finish off. We've run out of shit to talk about.
It's been good.
I really like The Witch, so I wonder if anybody watched it or not. But because I was going to watch it one way or another before Halloween, because I didn't watch it last year, and it's a big favorite of mine. It's a really great movie, wonderful atmosphere. Really great example of folk horror. If you want to talk about folk horror, it's one of the best.
For sure.
And I wonder what Eggers is doing next.
Oh,
Are you muted?
Thought he was. Oh, is
I think
he
you're
doing
muted.
Nosferatu?
I can hear you.
Hello?
No, that's muting.
Hello?
It's weird that I can't hear you. Can other people hear Jay? Because I can't.
Hello? Hello? Oh, I think I'm good. Yeah, I should be good. I think I'm good.
I can't hear Jay on my. That's fucking weird. People watching, can you hear Jay?
I think there's many people watching.
Damn it. Why can't I hear him? My
Yeah, I thought
headphones
Ed
are
was
on and working.
doing Nosferatu. Someone is.
But yeah, in the last minute, I can't hear Jay anymore, which is fucking bizarre. So I guess we should wrap. Because I don't think I clicked anything. So yeah, so it's definitely me. You guys can hear him. The fuck, did I do something? Headphones are working.
No.
Because they just told me about the battery. I don't know. I don't hear Jay, and I don't know why. It's obviously something I must have done. He's
Hello. Hello.
Audio. I don't know.
Well, on that note, guys, I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Wrap it up. Wrap it up. Wrap it up. All right. Thanks for watching.
I hear nothing.